Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one, folks. Ton we are going to get to after a really, really busy weekend in sports. Basketball Tigers picked up their big man, Ed Orgeron. Was on Marty and McGee this weekend talking about the college football season. Want to talk about that. And we also could be getting news today at some point during the show about the NFL season, as Adam Schefter earlier today reported that NFL owners are scheduled to meet again today. You probably saw over the weekend that prominent NFL players organized a Twitter blast using the hashtag #WeWantToPlay, but demanding that safety protocols are put into place by the NFL. There's some reports that we could see the preseason reduced to just one game. If, in fact, that does happen for the Saints, the report is that the game would be the one game against Houston in what would be week 3 of the preseason. So it kind of speaks to one of the things that we've discussed a lot here, which is, and I think the NFL of all the leagues has probably handled it best, and that might sound kind of counterintuitive considering you've got players right now in the NFL using the hashtag #WeWantToPlay and sort of rebelling against the league or demanding more accountability. To me, that feels more like an NFLPA play as they enter a labor agreement and trying to establish hand, so to speak. But I do think the NFL throughout this process has handled it best. They basically said, we're playing week 1, full schedule, on time. Let's just go with that as our objective and then adjust as need be. The draft went virtual. They handled free agency, even though there were no in-person meetings or medical evaluations done. So as a result, some players remain unsigned, like Jadeveon Clowney. And it's not to say that it's foolproof or fail-proof, but they've adjusted. Shortened the preseason, might shorten it again. But all things appear to be on target for the NFL for an on-time start, potentially with no fans or limited fans, and they'll adjust as they need to moving forward. So we're going to keep our eye on that because it's probably a story that will develop here throughout the course of the day today as the NFL owners have that meeting and we start to figure out what exactly did come of it. So we will get to that throughout the show. As for at home, Ed Orgeron was a guest on Marty and McGee Saturday on ESPN Radio. And by now, many of you have probably heard what Coach O had to say, but just for the sake of revisiting it, he was asked sort of about all of the uncertainty surrounding college football, and here's what he said.
We're ready to play. There's no uncertainty here, I tell you that. We're focusing on having a great season, the task in hand. We understand that there's some stuff going on out there where what time the season is going to start, who we're going to play, when we're going to play. That doesn't matter to us. We focus in on working hard in the weight room, getting in great shape, leadership, promoting a great culture here. I'm fired up about what's going on at LSU.
So that answer is essentially what we just talked about with the NFL. It's you're preparing to play on time. The things that you can control, which is work out, get in shape, get set, game plan, as if you're going to have a full schedule. And Ed Orgeron elaborated, and this is the soundbite that got most people's attention this weekend.
Obviously, this is not my decision, but my gut feeling is we're going to play. We're preparing to play. I don't want my players to think any other way. Our coaches are thinking another way. Whether we start September 5th or a little bit later, I don't know that for sure. Whether we play in conference, out of conference, whatever that happens, that doesn't bother me. I know this. I do believe we're going to play. I'm almost certain that we are going to play. And you guys will agree with this. The SEC needs football. State of Louisiana needs football. Our country needs football. It's time to get going.
So Ed Orgeron with no uncertain terms about where he stands. And he told Marty and McGee essentially the same thing he said to the vice president who was in Baton Rouge last week, which is the country needs football, Louisiana needs football. And I think in many levels we agree. And that you know where I stand on this. It's not worth hammering that message even further. But there are a lot of dominoes that football affects, and not just we need our foosball and watch large humans bang their heads against each other. But it is interesting, though, when you continue to hear people of that stature, the head coach of the defending national champion, say, I'm almost certain we're going to play. It's not like Ed Orgeron is plucking that from the air. He's in daily coaches Zoom meetings with the entire athletic department out at LSU.
That virtual Zoom room.
The administrators of the conference are meeting weekly. I mean, he and the governor of Louisiana are pretty good friends. I mean, when the head football coach shows up at a meeting with the governor and senators and the vice president of the United States of America, my guess is Ed might have pulled one of them aside at some point and said, hey, so what do you think? You know what I mean? 3 days or 2 days removed at that point from a face-to-face with the vice president of the United States, and the head coach at LSU is saying, I'm almost certain we're going to play. My guess is that he understands the powers that be are doing what they can to make it happen. But the other really interesting note, and we'll touch on this a bit more and around the SEC, is there's been this conversation a lot about, is it going to be a conference only or a full 12-game slate? And one of the things that we learned today is that Alabama, which had a week 1 opponent from the Pac-12 in USC, as you know, is working to replace that game in week 1. And they've apparently, according to AL.com, zeroed in on their opponent. Now, this isn't an Alabama story. Don't misunderstand me. It's a bigger picture college football. According to AL.com, Alabama and BYU are close to agreeing to play in that opening weekend of college football, or in week 1, whenever week 1 may happen. And that's interesting because BYU is an independent, but BYU had a season opening game also against a Pac-12 opponent in Utah, dubbed the Holy War with BYU and Utah. Well, if Utah and USC aren't going to play non-conference games, think about how silly that is just on its face. BYU and Utah in the same state, they can't play, but BYU and Alabama, they can. Whatever. Okay, just whatever. But the point is, just don't give me the safety angle with that. But the point is, BYU and Alabama are preparing to play each other week 1. And I'm fond of saying actions speak louder than words. And when you have administrators from these two schools actively seeking a game against each other, 2 weeks removed from the Big Ten and Pac-12 jointly saying that they're going to play conference only, it tells you very much where the SEC stands. They're not interested in playing a conference-only schedule. It's what Stephanie Remp said in the studio last week, which is they don't see the benefit of a conference only. They want to play a full 12-game schedule, and they're working toward that, however it may look. One other thing from Ed Orgeron, and then we'll talk to Billy Embody coming up here in about 7 minutes from right now from Go 24/7. Billy has been all over the LSU basketball recruiting story. He's the one who months ago told us about Musa Cisse, even before Cisse reclassified. And then ultimately we know what happened with Musa, as he appeared to be a silent commit to LSU, and then ultimately the NOA report from Dick Vitale came out. Cisse backed off. He ended up signing with Memphis last week. Well, Will Wade has found his big man. We'll talk about that with Billy in about 7 minutes from right now. But Ed Orgeron also talked about recruiting during the pandemic, which has been interesting because it's really unprecedented that you've seen this number of commitments that have never stepped foot on a particular campus. But here's what Ed Orgeron told Marty and McGee about recruiting during the pandemic.
Well, it's going pretty good right now. We're ranked 3rd in the country, and we have 16 great commits that we're fired up about. We have a lot of guys that we feel that we're going to get. We think we're going to have a great class. Now, here's the part. You have to have done your homework before, obviously. Now, the spring recruiting hurt because, and the camps, because we couldn't get an extra evaluation. So mostly all of our evaluations are going off the tape right now. But as far as the recruiting itself, there's a lot of Zoom meetings. There's a lot of FaceTime opportunities with these players. We're talking to them more than ever now. But I do believe, Marty, that the season that we had has helped us in a wave of recruiting that I haven't seen before at LSU on the national level.
You were reaching for the Zoom drop.
And that virtual Zoom room.
Do you play the virtual Zoom room drop during another Ed Orgeron drop where he mentions the virtual Zoom room?
And that virtual Zoom room.
I don't think I can. That's way too meta.
Is it, or is it just that
Inception? I don't know.
Is that sci-fi stuff? Should I understand that?
It was, yeah.
Sci-fi or spiritual? Which angle would you?
It'd be sci-fi.
What is? I don't know what that is.
It's a movie. It loops back into itself.
Inception is the name of the movie. Who was in it?
Oh, my goodness. Who was in Inception?
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna have
I
to
just
look it
asked
up.
you.
I'm going to have to look it
Oh,
up.
that's okay. How old is it?
I don't know. Maybe 8 years, 7, 8 years.
Oh, okay. Paul, you ever seen Inception?
I have.
How was it? Who was in the movie? Do you know?
It was good. Leonardo DiCaprio.
How could you not know the brain? How could you not know Leo?
Says the guy who hasn't seen it.
Well, but if I did see it, I'd remember that Leo was in it.
He's been in a lot.
But if you've seen a movie with Leo, how could you forget the movie with Leo?
I don't know. I really don't.
Okay.
It came out at the same time as like 3 or 4 of the things that I was really into, and I wasn't into that one.
How did it go on Friday with me not here?
Billy Embody's coming up next.
Did Dixon having the Catholic Eye helmet, was that a golf ball on the set?
There was a golf ball.
You had a Catholic Eye golf ball on the set?
Every
Yeah?
form of merch from Catholic High you could have made its way to the set.
Oh, good.
I believe he had undies.
I bet he did. Miss Penny over at the bookstore. She's done. I mean, she's been there since before I was a student. She's got great Catholic High merch over there. You want me to get you some?
You know what? Not yet.
Okay.
James is only 4.
Yeah. Well, it's
I got a
coming.
little time.
It's coming. Trust, it's coming.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's gonna be so good. Finally get him with a winner. You know what I mean?
Oh, good.
It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Billy Embody's next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Virtual visits available online. I understand with the recent number spike with COVID, a lot of people may be feeling less certain about getting out and about, but if you need to see a physician, you still can do it with the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Virtual visits available online. And they've done so much for our community, especially during this time, to make sure that everyone has the care they need. As so many resources need to be exercised, they've reopened the emergency room at the Mid-City location. They've got the Surgery Fast Pass on their website. They've got the mobile app. Listen, if you can't get to the hospital or it's not severe enough to get to the hospital, they've got their express clinics all over town. And if you want to go to the express care, go to the app and you can see the wait times at any of the locations. They're trying to make your health care easier than ever at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Failure happens to us all. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, remember, you can watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel as well. So watch 104.5, and you can comment in the chat there also if you want to get involved in the show. Appreciate you for being with us here. All right, so LSU over the weekend, Tiger basketball ends up, after LSU went through what they did with Moussa Cisse, it looked like they were going to be maybe short a spot, and they end up doing what they do. They went and pound the pavement, and LSU ends up landing the commitment from a transfer out of the University of Washington. Penn Johnson commits to the Tigers, announcing it via his Twitter account over the weekend. Billy Embody's with us, Go 24/7. Billy was all over the Cisse news before Cisse even reclassified. He's the first one that put that bug in our ear months and months and months ago. So who better to talk to now than he? Billy, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Doing well, Matt. How about you?
I'm doing really well. Before we get to Penn Johnson, let's just sort of go chronologically. From your vantage point, what all transpired with Cisse where it appeared as though he was in the boat and then he wasn't?
Yeah, I think that's one that, look, I think it's much publicized that Dick Vitale had some reports that came out throughout the summer that, notice of allegations was going to come LSU's way. And who knows, maybe one day that does happen. But with his timing of everything, it was apparent that whoever was giving him that information had something out for Will Wade and LSU and trying to disrupt things with the Moussa Cisse recruitment. And so, the first time it happened was in the first week of June, I believe, right before Moussa was about to originally announce his decision. And everyone that we talked to on all sides of it pointed to LSU and that they were going to get him. And he opted to delay after that first one. And then the second time it happened when he had settled on another announcement date, it happened again. And that was kind of, I think, the final straw. And, I think sometimes there's probably something at work there, around college basketball or something. But, with where they were in that recruitment, got to find a way sometimes to just overcome. But, he opts to just stay in the town where he's been attending high school and play for Penny Hardaway. He's going to be a one and done, which in that respect, it sucks for LSU. It sucks for LSU fans. You're not going to be able to see that type of a guy running up and down the floor, and he would have been a huge difference maker. But ultimately, Penny Hardaway is a really good recruiter too, and they were able to land him and keep him in Memphis. So it was a weird deal, but Will Wade did get what he needed, which was a 7-footer to come into the program.
So the guy they get is Penn Johnson, which for many of us, just casual observers, sort of came out of left field. From what you know, how long had LSU been courting Penn Johnson?
So when he entered the portal, he was somebody that you kind of looked at and you said, well, will they go ahead and go after him because he redshirted his first year at UW, and then he kind of battled some injuries and played in 6 games and had limited production in that time. But his per 40-minute numbers are pretty good. He averaged about 12 and 6 in his per 40-minute numbers, which when you look at how LSU developed Cavell Bigby-Williams and look back at that, there was a blueprint that they could go to him with and say, hey, here was this other 7-footer that we had from the Pac-12 come into the program. He redshirted, and he ended up being one of the best shot blockers in the SEC, and he's having a real good run at a professional career now. has emerged as, somebody who could be around in the professional ranks for a while. So that's kind of the blueprint that they went to Brian Penn Johnson with. And look, they recruited him out of high school. They didn't recruit him that hard, but they did offer him, and they ultimately just didn't end up pressing for him when push came to shove. And so he ends up at UW, and he really grew a lot. He has a 7'7" wingspan right now. He added some weight, which he really needed to do coming out of high school. He was about like 205, 210. But when he hit the portal, he was a name that I think LSU circled as somebody. Okay, let's get in touch. Let's see if he wants to listen to us and come to the SEC. And sure enough, he did.
So Brian Penn Johnson commits. Now, how do they get him eligible for this season?
Yeah, that's the big thing, and it'll probably be a similar case of, Sharif O'Neal dealt with a lot of medical issues early on in his career at UCLA, and so the pitch now is that he's already lost a year of college basketball with that heart condition and heart surgery. Let's not cost him another year of eligibility by, making him ineligible for transferring out of the program and getting a fresh start at LSU. That's probably the similar pitch they're going to use with Brian Penn Johnson. And then for UW, what would be great on their part, and what a lot of college coaches are doing around the country, is supporting a transfer. So whether it's the coach saying, look, I kind of over-recruited him. He would have had a spot here, but he wouldn't have played. I support him going to LSU and getting a fresh start and maybe playing more, or whatever, Coach Hopkins over there at UW wants to say to support the decision. That's what a lot of college coaches are trending towards doing right now. So it's all about creating a case with the NCAA as they review waivers that would say, look, this is a good thing for Brian Penn Johnson. It helps him, and it helps him get on the floor and improve his college career, which has kind of been off to a slow start. And so LSU and UW will kind of work together on that and try to find a way to make the best case for the NCAA to grant him immediate eligibility.
Is so much of this also Billy Embody is, I guess, Go 24/7. He's on Twitter at Billy Embody. I'll give him a follow. So many in this, but in football and in basketball right now, a lot of the transfer waiver requests revolve around COVID. Is there any thought that maybe because Seattle was such a hard hit area that COVID could be part of that transfer request as well?
It could be, and I haven't. I got a text out to Brian. It's funny, you go back through and you hope that you still have the number or you still follow each other on Twitter from back in the recruiting days, and sure enough, we do. So I've got a text out to him trying to get in contact with him to see maybe what their case would be. But yeah, COVID could be a part of it, but they'll kind of go through that process with him now that he's committed and formulate a plan. And there's a ton of paperwork. There's a ton of different ways that compliance will get together and try to come up with the best case based on past cases getting approved. And with COVID, I mean, it's a totally new situation, but I would think they would explore that for sure.
Billy, last thing, let's talk numbers. So you add Brian Penn Johnson, you've still got 3 players out there who haven't yet decided if they're staying in the draft or if they're returning. What does it mean for LSU with all of those hypotheticals with Smart Days and Trendon Watford?
I think right now, with it being just such an unprecedented time, I mean, they're just kind of along for the ride right now. I think it's about being really just in good communication with Javonte, with Darius, with Trendon, and seeing where their heads are at with the draft process, so that if, maybe one of them surprises and says, you know what, I'm going to go make money overseas or leave my name in the NBA draft and try to, get into the professional ranks during all of this and not risk maybe losing a college season or having a shortened college season or what have you, that they just communicate through it all. So, I mean, all 3 are welcome back at LSU, obviously, really good players. And I think Javonte and Darius are more likely to return. I think Trendon's still 50-50. And I talked to him briefly a couple weeks back, and he said that he's going to go through the process, as long as he possibly can to try and gather as much information as he can. So that one might go out a little bit longer, but I think the biggest thing is just being in good communication, and Will Wade and his staff always do a pretty good job of that with those players and making sure that they're supported either way.
Billy, just one more thing real quick as a follow-up. if the three guys we mentioned all hypothetically elect to return, and then you add Brian Penn Johnson, they'd be heavy one, right?
I believe so. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but yes, that sounds right. And those things do have a way of
no doubt
working themselves out, like
Absolutely. So, all right, Billy Embody, great stuff as always. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at Billy Embody. Go 24/7. Read his stuff there. Follow him on Twitter. As always, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Anytime, Matt. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. See you. That is Billy Embody. This is After Further Review. We're presented by Relief Windows, and glad to have you hanging out. So, he said Watford's 50-50. I've heard more. And listen, I feel like I have to throw out this caveat. And I know I say it a bunch, but with the whims of a 17, 18, 19, 20 year, like you just never know what may change. Look at what happened with Moussa Cisse. The kid was a silent commit to LSU. And then the NOA reports come out, and he sort of recoiled a little bit, took a step back, and he ultimately went with Memphis. So, like, until it's pen to paper and it's done, it's not done. And even then, sometimes it's still not done. So it's maybe more like when they get on campus. But either way, we'll see what those guys elect to do. I firmly believe that Javonte Smart and Darius Days are going to return, and that Watford is likely to move on to the next level. And if that happens, then Brian Penn Johnson becomes the final scholarship. Now, if Watford and all three of those elect to return and you're one heavy, then you have to somebody has to go. So, but look, Will Wade will cross that bridge when the time comes. Hey, I just got a text. Alex Lang is going to join us in 34 minutes. I was waiting on that. The Detroit Tigers had an intra-squad game today. So the last intra-squad game before the opening day. So, last week the news came that Lang and Hess were called up to the 60-man roster for the big club. So Alex Lang very likely and Zach Hess are going to make their major league debuts this year in a very, albeit unorthodox circumstance with no fans and who knows in what ballpark it may be. But still, great news for Lang. So I want to go talk about how this process has gone from getting the call to being there in their MLB bubble and then having to get on planes and all that stuff. So we'll talk to Lang coming up here in about 33 minutes from right now. After further review, glad to have you aboard with us. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. Quick reminder about GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. What an awesome time to get in touch with your local loan officer. They want to be your lender for life. I tell you about it all the time. GMFSmortgage.com. If you're buying a home, if you're building a home, or right now because of this unprecedented circumstance that we're all living through, and rates are at historic lows, if you maybe want to refinance your mortgage and save money by lowering your monthly mortgage payment, it's a possibility. Maybe you want to do a cash out refinance. You want to do that home improvement project, lend against some of the equity in your home. There's so many different options, but it's just about having that conversation. Like maybe you've wanted to redo your kitchen or your bathroom, or you want to add an outdoor kitchen or a pool or something like that. Well, using the equity in your home is a great way to do that, and perhaps GMFS Mortgage can help you. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. Come back, go around the SEC. Stay here, AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime. 0% for 72 months on all new 2020 F-150s. Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So a lot of people have obviously been keeping a close eye on what's going to happen with high school sports, really in Louisiana where we are, but a lot of people outside of our state who are watching certainly keeping an eye on their own states. Earlier today, Georgia voted, the Georgia Athletic, I don't know if it's, I'm really not sure what they call it, if it's the Georgia High School Athletic Association, but they voted that they will play a full 12-game season and will start on time. The state of California, as you go from the East Coast to the far West Coast, the complete opposite end of that spectrum, as the state of California today, they call it the CIF, California Independent, whatever it is. The CIF is the governing body of California high school sports. They announced that their sports season will not begin until December or January. So they plan to play a full season, but move it back in the start. And Wilson Alexander, our friend from The Advocate, pointed out, Rajon Davis, who is the top recruit in LSU's class currently committed for the class of 2021, he will not be able to play his senior season before early signing day. Of course, early signing day in December. So if Rajon Davis is going to sign and enroll at LSU as a spring enrollee, then he's not going to play his senior season. And you're starting to see that from a lot of prominent recruits out of the state of California. Corey Foreman, who, of course, is the #1 player in the country for the class of 2021, defensive lineman out of California, tweeted 8 minutes before we went on air today. He tweeted, "If they make me choose between my senior season or going to college, please believe I'm headed to my first camp, no questions asked." So understand what's happening. The reason this is significant is because we've sort of asked the question, what if college football moved to a spring season? Like if they delayed and it bled into, say, February, March, April. Or even if you started in February, March, April and played into the summer. And a lot of people have questioned, would the best players in college football play? this is your answer. The best players in high school football aren't playing so that they can have the opportunity to be early enrollees at college where they're going to play for free. You think the best players in college football are going to pass on $1 million signing bonuses to be able to play a college season and risk injury and then have a quick turnaround to their rookie NFL season? No way. There's no shot that Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or Jamar Chase or Sony Pala, I'll never say his name. The offensive lineman from Oregon. Like, those guys are we went through it last week. McShay updated his top 32 for this upcoming draft. The entire top 10 is underclassmen, and 26 of the 32 are underclassmen. You're like the best players in college football, and I would suggest that seniors also would elect not to play. Seniors who had the possibility of playing and being drafted. You're preparing for the combine and then going through the combine and then going through workouts and pre-draft stuff. I mean, you're preparing to make millions, not playing a season of college football. So, I mean, if you wondered how that might transpire, what's happening in California today with some of the top recruits in the country is a very clear indicator of what that choice is going to be. They're not going to play at that level with the opportunity at the next level to come. So, if college football delays its start, expect to see announcements like this aplenty. But it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama appears to be closing in on its new Week 1 opponent. There's a strong possibility, according to AL.com, that Alabama will open the season against BYU. No location yet set for that game. Alabama, BYU both originally set to open against teams from the Pac-12. Bama was going to play USC. BYU was going to play Utah. Pac-12, of course, going conference only, so those two teams need new opponents. Peach Bowl CEO Gary Stokan had recently mentioned that Notre Dame would be a possibility Week 1 for Bama, but Greg Byrne, the Bama AD, tweeted over the weekend, the Tide and Notre Dame will not play this season. So, a game against Bama would be BYU's third matchup against an SEC program in the last 4 years. They played Tennessee and, of course, LSU.
The Texas A&M Aggies. The Georgia Bulldogs.
There it is. Georgia defensive back Devad Wilson entered the transfer portal on Monday. Wilson is a former 4-star prospect from Miami. Started 2 games as a redshirt freshman last season for the Georgia Bulldogs. I almost said the Aggies. Via his Twitter page, he wrote that it would be in his best interest to be closer to home. Keep that in mind. Closer to home, he's going to apply for an immediate eligibility waiver because of COVID, and most of these are being granted.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
Tank Jenkins was one of the top-rated players in the state of Alabama in 2018 when he signed with Texas A&M. Monday, he announced he's leaving the Aggies. He's entered the NCAA transfer portal. Jenkins did not see action for the Aggies last season after redshirting in 2018. Former 4-star prospect, he was the 11th best offensive guard in the nation when he signed it with A&M. Did I say signed
The Florida Gators.
When he signed with, not signed it, he signed with A&M. And less than 24 hours after Florida's 2021 class took a hit when Clinton Burton flipped from Florida to Boston College, Donovan McMillan, a 6'2 defensive back from Pennsylvania, committed to the Gators. He had a top 5 of Florida, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, Oregon, and Oklahoma. McMillan's rated as a 3-star prospect, number 7 safety in the country, so clearly Florida told the other guy, hey, get out of here. We don't have room for you anymore. So he went to BC, and they got this kid. Also today, 4-star wide receiver Marcus Burke committed to the Florida Gators. 6'3", 180. He chose Florida over Georgia.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
A Little Rock tight end Aaron Outley has committed to Arkansas. 6'4", 245. He becomes the Razorbacks' 15th commit. Chose the Hogs over A&M, Florida State, Michigan, and others. He's a 3-star prospect, the number 58 tight end in the country.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And Mississippi State has announced the hiring of Jamar Chaney to Mike Leach's football staff. He'll serve as a senior defensive analyst. Chaney, you might remember, played linebacker for State from 05 to 09. He was all SEC in 07 after he led the Bulldogs in tackles. This past year, Chaney was the assistant director of player personnel for the Florida Gators. And there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Oh, not a bad day. I think I made 3 of them. Hit the rim on a couple of others. Not perfect, but not bad. Not awful. I'm excited about this. Alex Lang will be with us 20 minutes from right now. See this story? So, do you remember a couple of weeks ago we told you that Mark Hudspeth, the former head coach at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, resigned from Austin Peay? Brain, do you remember this? Were you working with us at this? No, you weren't. So, Hudspeth had been at ULL, got fired there, found out later that they cheated a bunch. They had to forfeit a bunch of games, a conference championship, a couple of New Orleans Bowl trophies, whatever. Well, he spent a season on Mike Leach's staff, and then got the head coaching job at Austin Peay. And they went gangbusters. They had a record season at Austin Peay this past year. They won 11 games, which was a school record. They went to the FCS playoffs for the first time ever. They won 2 games in the playoffs, made it to the quarterfinals. It was like amazing season for Austin Peay, and Hudspeth did this great job. Well, a couple of weeks ago, he just suddenly resigned. And in the release, it was that he was stepping away for unspecified family reasons. Well, the Leaf Chronicle, whatever that is, certainly a reputable publication. But the Leaf Chronicle obtained emails via open records request, and the athletic director there, Gerald Harrison, accused Hudspeth of unacceptable conduct and had suspended the coach. So basically, and he just detailed the article in his contract, section 10.1.2 and 10.1.8 of your employment agreement. Basically, AD says, hey, you've been running afoul. Hudspeth, you're suspended. Hudspeth says, bleep you, I'm out. So that's ultimately what happened with that guy. How weird is this, though? Hudspeth is like a really good coach. He took a crap program like the University of Louisiana at Lafayette and kept winning 9 games and going to bowl games and doing more with them than you'd ever think. Got him to build this new facility. They raised money. There was a lot of good mojo there. And then he tailed off, gets fired. They have to forfeit a bunch, I think 22 wins, a conference championship, a couple of New Orleans Bowl trophies. And then he goes to State, and he's on staff there with for 1 year with Moorhead, and then leaves to take the Austin Peay job, does a great job. It's like Hudspeth is just like a really good football coach, like very clearly a very good football coach. But he has these really sketchy circumstances around him everywhere he goes, which is very odd. I don't know him. I've never met Mark Hudspeth, so I couldn't actually tell you a personal opinion of the man. Just outside looking in, it's bizarre how these circumstances keep following him, even though he's like a really good coach. Nonetheless, Mark Hudspeth available for hire, apparently. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you with us here. Brought to you by Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com. carriagesbr.com. Voted by you the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. It is an awesome time right now to get by Carriages because the summer sale is still going on. Buy more, save more, up to 50% off right now. If you buy 1 item at 20% off, it's amazing. You can get up to 50% off. Buy 1 item, 20% off. Buy 2 items, 40% off. Buy 3 items, 50% off. Incredible right now on suits, sport coats, summer sportwear that are already marked. Some items are already marked 50% off. Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com. Check them out. The summer sale is going on. Buy more, save more. The more you buy, the more you save at Carriages in Bocage. Tell them Matt sent you in. Go see Will and our friends over at Carriages in Bocage. Voted by you, the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. It's Carriages in Bocage. All right, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. As I mentioned, Alex Lang, former LSU Tiger, now Detroit Tiger, who's on the cusp of making his big league debut. He's going to be with us in 16 minutes from right now. And a record-breaking sale for a sports card. Why this one was astonishing. We'll get to that in just a minute. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're looking for dinner plans tonight, make tonight an Ichiban night. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Man, I saw this past Friday. Of course, Dixon McMakin hosted AFR. Appreciate Dixon so much for that. Keeping it in the Catholic High family. And you know what he did? He went to Ichiban before he came in here for AFR. Ordered himself a Moscona roll. You got to love that. Hey, Brain, are there any St. Paul's alums that have a roll at Ichiban named after them?
No, not at
Didn't
Ichiban.
think so. So you can get by Ichiban and get the Moscona roll. Take a picture of it. Tweet it. #Moscona roll. Would love to share it with our audience here. Love to give you a retweet. Little cosign there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just share it there. I'd love to share it with you. But if you need dinner plans, Ichiban's always a great option. If you love sushi, even if you don't, hibachi, world-class, award-winning hibachi at Ichiban, both locations. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. You know where they are in Gonzales. You go south of 44, about a mile on the right. You can't miss it. It's Ichiban. So make tonight an Ichiban night.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
104.5 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 1045 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, one of the cool things about working here at Guarantee Media is we've got a lot of great talented people who just walk through the halls. And our good friend Jay Ducote, who is the host of the Jay Ducote Show, also owner, chef at Government Taco, and a Friday contributor on AFR for our tailgate segment. He popped in, and I was like, well, Jay, you get to come on because he brought me a gift.
How
are you,
man?
dude?
I'm well.
Good.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to
you as well. Kind of weird joining you on a Monday instead of a Friday, but I did bring you a gift.
Look at this, man.
Here it is.
What a guy.
Anybody on CST right now can look. I mean, so this is it's a framed copy of your Best of 225 magazine. We've got the cover and then the page that you were on with such a great picture,
that is so
by the
cool.
way. That was taken at the Mid-City Beer Garden, right?
Which is a phenomenal place. I had never
spot.
been until this photo shoot.
Okay.
And it's magnificent.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole vibe is great. I mean, it's an outdoor beer garden.
Yeah.
They have beer and they have food and you can sit outside, but you're kind of covered. In college, you know, we've known each other a long time, but like when we knew each other, you remember Ben and Ski and those guys, like we lived on Longwood. I mean, between Capitol Heights and clay cut.
Right. Would have been great if that was there then.
The guy could have stumbled over and then said we had Phil Brady's or whatever was right there. Or the old government taco. The new coming government taco.
I had a bunch of friends that lived on Concordia, which is over off of Capitol Heights, close to Jefferson. Yeah. I mean, it's right where the new government taco is going.
I know.
And so, yeah.
Well, this is so cool, man. I'm very appreciative. That's so thoughtful.
So me and my team, Blair Loop and the group, framed this for you and thought it would look good on the wall in your office or at home or in this studio to rub it in to everybody else's faces.
What if I just like put it on T-Bob's desk? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. T-Bob doesn't have a desk.
Oh.
Sorry. I can't.
See, I feel like it could just stay in this studio. It says right here, Best Radio Personality, a new category for Best of 225. Matt Moscona, after further review on 104.5 ESPN Radio, number one with 27% of the vote. And I am happy to say this as well. Our family here at Guarantee Media has Richard Condon from Condon Uncensored, and Jay Ducote from the Jay Ducote Show in the top 5.
Your mic keeps
the mics. I'm too busy holding a poster here. And then you also have the Best Chef category at the bottom of this page. It just so happened those are all on the same page. Best Chef, Jay Ducote, Government Taco, right there. So this is yours.
Thank you very much. This really is phenomenal. And thanks so much. Well, to 225, who does a great job every year of putting on the best of 225, but also the one thing that sincerely is cool about this is it's like 100% a reader vote.
Yeah.
So the readers of 225 vote on this. So it's humbling because it's the people who read the magazine. It's all of you who listen or watch every day who vote on that. So it was cool I guess the first time in that category to be the recipient of that, which is awesome. But it's actually very cool also to get this from you because as an individual, I would guess you have probably won more best of 225s individually than anybody. Is that fair to say, you think? Like how many of you won? I mean,
well, so as an individual, 4.
Okay.
3 or 4.
How about total?
But like Government Tacos won 2 now, so I have 6 on my wall.
It's like we mentioned.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Matt. I do.
Yes.
I do.
But I also love the fact that Jay brought me a gift, and his name appears on this more than my name.
Twice.
More than my name does. So, but this is awesome, man. Thank you very much. It's very, very kind.
It's a good page. It's a good page.
It is. And Mid-City Beer Garden's a great spot. 225 are great people, and I'm very, very, very sincerely grateful to everybody who voted. It was cool. I got the plaque and the whole case and everything on Friday. So they give you the plaque. They give you like the stand-up. They give you yard signs.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to put the yard sign up in my house. And
you
be
might
like,
as well for a little while.
Yeah, might as well. So. Well, we'll find a spot for that. So what's coming up today on Jay Ducote Show?
We got a little news to talk about. Looking ahead to what the school year might look like with coronavirus stuff and the possible vaccine out of Oxford over in the UK.
Is that going to work?
Some
Can we get that before football season?
No, definitely not.
You think we might be able to get that in a week
Zero
or two?
chance before football season. No.
What if we fast track this? You can't make a call.
Right.
Let's get this thing done in a couple weeks.
Well, I'll put in a phone call.
Make a phone call. See what you can do.
I am best chef, so I feel like I could.
So, isn't there something that you like? Couldn't you concoct?
Ridiculous.
Couldn't you concoct some type of food that could kill COVID-19? I'm pretty sure there are something that we might be able to sweep from the bottom of some restaurant's oven somewhere that would kill COVID.
Don't drink bleach.
Are there people who actually did that?
I think so.
That's a shame.
It
doesn't surprise me. Humans at times can be less than aggressive.
We also have Jay and Chuck at the movies in hour number 2. Now that's where we get away from the news, and we're doing a film review on The Old Guard, which just came out on Netflix. Charlize Theron movie that we let our listeners know that we'd be doing a movie review.
Brain, what was the movie that you saw that we talked about earlier this hour?
Inception.
Who was in Inception? Did you see it?
DiCaprio.
See, Brain?
I did see it.
How could you not know? I've never seen it, but Paul know. I'm like, how could you not know Leo was in that movie?
Yeah.
So, Jay Ducote, afternoons, Talk 107.3, 4 to 6 p.m., talk1073.com if you're outside the listening area, you want a little change of pace. Before you go, did you collect baseball cards as a kid?
I did.
Did you collect all sports cards or just baseball?
Baseball and basketball.
Okay.
I have or had, I don't know where they are. I probably still have like a Shaq and Penny Hardaway rookies or somewhere. So Shaq rookie might be worth something.
I hate to tell you, it's probably not, unless if it's signed or if it was a limited edition. So we grew up in what's known now as the junk wax era, and everything was just so mass produced that nothing's really worth anything.
Gotcha.
Like I had a 1987 I have a 1987 Greg Maddux rookie card, and I was like, well, he's in the Hall of Fame now. This has got to be something.
Got to be something.
Like $15. It's like none of it's worth anything unless if you have super rare releases that might be signed.
Yeah.
I mean, Well, a LeBron rookie went for $1.8 million.
I'm sorry, $1.8 million.
Let me say that again. A 17-year-old card.
Yeah.
LeBron James
A guy
rookie,
that's still playing.
$1.8 million at auction this week. There were only 23 made of this particular card.
Okay.
And it's in mint gem condition, whatever. So there's only 2 of those in the world. $1.8 million. Sports cards are back, bro. And
It's
by
impressive.
the way, they said all the buyers are like overseas, Europe, China, the UAE. It's incredible, but like basketball is a more popular worldwide sport than baseball.
Oh yeah,
which is
big time.
absolutely incredible.
Big time.
He's Jay Ducote. Thanks again, man. Very
Yeah,
kind.
my
I
pleasure.
appreciate that, Greg.
Thanks for having me.
Alex Lang joins us next.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and just go. New and certified pre-owned. In fact, Paul didn't get it on the one shot quickly enough. We just saw Jay's back going across the camera. Southpointvw.com for South Point Volkswagen. I drive a Volkswagen Atlas. Erica, my wife, drives a Volkswagen Atlas. We had 2 of them in the driveway. This past week, I had Friday off. I went to go pick up cookies for Drew's party from Grand Bakes. By the way, if you want personalized cookies, Grand Bakes is awesome. And I went up, pulled up into her driveway, and she had a Volkswagen Atlas. She thought that she was looking out the driveway at her car. But my point is, you'll see tons of Volkswagens on the road, especially the Atlas, because the 3-row 7-seater family SUV has sort of changed the game. You get all the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. If you need that full-size family SUV, make sure you put the Volkswagen Atlas on your list. South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
0% for 72 months on all new 2020 F-150s. Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
104.5 ESPN invites you to take a short quiz for a chance to win a brand new EU1000 generator from our friends at Bozeman Distributors. Simply go to 1045ESPN.com now through August 16th and take the quiz to see how prepared you are for hurricane season. Everyone who takes the quiz is automatically entered to win the generator. Our winner will be chosen on Monday, August 17th. Get prepared for hurricane season from 104.5 ESPN and stay prepared with Bozeman Distributors.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Hour 2 of After Further Review coming your way in under 60 seconds. Just enough time for me to tell you the NFL and its players have reached agreement on the testing aspect of COVID-19 safety protocols. They're going to start off by testing every single day. If after 2 weeks they maintain a positivity rate of below 5%, that'll drop to every other day. By the way, as soon as they show up to camp, they have to test negative twice before they'll even be let in. Over to the NHL, they've released their first COVID-19 test results. So far, 2 players in the NHL have tested positive for COVID-19. Back to the NFL, according to a report from Pro Football Talk, the NFL and the NFL Players Association, they are looking at downsizing the preseason all the way down to one preseason game. That one preseason game would be played in week 3 of the preseason, or when week 3 of the preseason would normally happen. Hour 2 of After Further Review coming your way right now.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one, folks. Ton to get to here in hour 2, but we're going to start by going up to the Motor City. We found out last week that a couple of former LSU Tigers, Alex Lang and Zach Hess, were called up, added to the 60-man roster there in Detroit, and with opening day later this week, could very well see our buddy Alex Lang make his MLB debut this week, which would just be fire. He joins us now from Detroit. Langer, how are you, man?
Hey, what's up? Good to talk to you, man.
Dude, you as always. Okay, first of all, congrats. Awesome news.
Thank you.
Fired up for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How did you find out? Like, could you just kind of go through what the summer was like for you, and then how you found out that you were going to Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, initially I wasn't on the roster. They decided that they were going to give some guys opportunities and, not go in my direction, which, as a front office, I understand you have to make decisions, but I was told to stay ready because you just never know what's going to happen. And so I just continued to keep training, keep throwing, keep facing hitters. And, I got the phone call. I was sitting in my room in Houston where I was training and got a phone call and was on a flight no more than like 15 hours later to come up here and start testing, go through all that protocol. So it was kind of a whirlwind of 24 hours, but well worth it.
So this was last week that you got that call?
Sunday night, yeah.
Okay, so Sunday night, you get that call. 15 hours later, you're on a flight to Detroit. Pick it up there with what the process was like once, like, okay, you land in Detroit, I guess you go to a hotel, then you got to, like, get to the facility. So pick it up there, what all the process was like.
Yeah, so it was kind of crazy. So I got picked up, got into the car, was driven straight to the stadium, mask and everything, was led down the hallway. Everyone was, like, kind of staying away. Like, while I was passing through, people were, staying away. So you get the tested, you get the finger prick test, and then there's a spit test. And then straight after that, it was straight to the hotel to quarantine until the results came in. So there was no leaving the hotel, no walking around, no nothing, just in the hotel room for all of Monday, Tuesday, and then all of Wednesday till about 6 p.m. when I tested negative. So I was able to, go back and join society Wednesday.
So when did you first get back on a field?
Thursday.
Okay.
So there was, nothing Monday, nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. So I flipped my mattress up against the wall and was throwing in my mattress to keep the arm moving. So that was fun.
Were you throwing a baseball or like a tennis ball or something?
I had my set of driveline weighted balls and then a baseball for a little bit until I decided that, one wrong move and I'm paying for drywall, so I kind of banged the baseball.
Did you tick off any of the people in the hotel? Because we saw that report last week. Who was that was dribbling Did you see that report?
Jimmy Butler.
It was Butler. Yeah. Butler was dribbling in the hotel.
No, so I only missed the mattress once in 3 days, so I was happy about that.
All right.
And it was just a little bit high. It happens. That guy gets away from you, but
it was just a bit outside.
Yeah, it's okay though. You got to miss up sometimes.
So you go to the park on Thursday. I know you all been playing intra-squad games. You had one today. So I'm assuming you've gotten on the mound. What's it been like getting on the mound in a big league park in these intra-squad games?
Oh, dream come true, man. I mean, it's the stuff you dream about since you're 5 years old. I was standing out there talking to Hess Thursday, and we're playing catch, and we're kind of just looking around like, whoa, man, we're here. This is cool. I mean, this is what you dreamed of and what you think about, what you work for, and just being able to be around the big league guys and having the opportunity to be here has been extremely awesome. And I mean, it's just really fun to be able to compete at the highest level of the game. I mean, there's really nowhere else to go after, in the big leagues is the highest, obviously the highest level of the game's played at. And it's just cool to share a field with those guys, getting around them, getting to learn, and just watching big leaguers go about their business because it's different, and that's what makes them different. That's what makes them good. So it's been an absolute blast and a dream come true to be here, and I'm just super excited.
Alex Lang is our guest, former LSU pitcher, now with the Detroit Tigers, part of their 60-man roster. So he's in Detroit opening day later this week. What's that? Did I lose you? Hey, you got me?
Yeah, is this live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh.
What did I do?
Yeah, I don't know. I almost lost you. I didn't know if you hung up on me.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know. You cut out on me. Sorry about that.
You're good, man. Don't worry. We'll edit it out of the podcast. Don't worry. Hey, so you mentioned Hess. So
Hess, yeah.
What's it like being there? What's it like being there with Hess, man? I mean, like you guys were in a College World Series together, and now you get this call up together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just got to babysit him a little bit, help him out. He's still young. He's getting it. No, he's good, man. He had a good outing today. He's a freak, man. He throws it hard. He competes, and he's fun to be around. He's a good workout partner because he's not going to let you take a rep off because he never does. And he's a good guy to push me, and I push him, and we got a good dynamic together. And it's just a lot of fun to have a guy you've trained with before and likes to work hard and likes to get after it. So we're just comfortable around each other, and it's good. It's good to have that competition to drive you here. So. Been awesome.
There's this picture that the Detroit Prospects Twitter account released. I know you've seen it, you retweeted it, but there's you and Hess talking to Gardenhire at the park at Comerica, and so the picture's from behind the two of you. He's in 89 and you're wearing number 90. Did you get no say whatsoever in what jersey number you're going to have?
Well, I mean, if you look at my body, it's projected as a defensive lineman, so I understand why they put me in the 9.
Hess could pass for defensive line. You'd be more like
outside linebacker. I'm pretty fast.
I was more going right-handed pitcher.
Right-handed pitcher's fine. That's all right. I'll take that.
I would too. You're in the show, man. What are you talking about?
So it's been good.
Are you going to keep 90 though?
Oh, I honestly just showed up and just saw 90 in my locker. So I'm just happy to have a jersey with a number on the back of it and my name, because in spring training you don't always get your name on the back. So it's good to have a number and a name. So, I just take it as it comes.
Alex Lang, a couple of more minutes. What was your first experience like against big league hitters in these intra-squad games?
Oh, it was awesome. The jitters are there. You feel like the games are, they're matter. Games are they're quick, they're efficient. The guys know what they're looking for. Plays are made in the outfield. It's crisp. It's fun. It's just really cool to see the game just flow the way it does. To see big league hitters' approaches and what they're looking for, how to mix, and pitch sequencing and how they react to different things and how you have to change your mentality. It's not just get ahead and put them away. I mean, you're setting balls up off. And I mean, it's a totally different ball game as far as how to attack hitters and approach them because, everything that you have, they've always seen something better. They've always seen a harder breaking ball. They've seen a harder heater. They've seen more depth, a better changeup. Guys have, they've seen it all being in the big leagues for, 3-4 years. They've gone, they have 2,000 ABs, pitching to Miguel Cabrera when he's an MVP, he's seen everything better than anything you've ever done. And just adjusting, keeping guys off balance. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more of a chess game and a mental game than I ever thought it was. But it's a blast. It's a dream come true, and it's been a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens this year.
You know, man, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but there's this whole I wanted to talk to you so much just about the personal aspect of getting the call and being in this moment, but there's this other total aspect, which is the baseball component in the expanded rosters and the fact that in a 60-game season and starters not really being able to extend, especially early, it's going to make bullpen guys even more valuable. And now you can't have every bullpen guy's got to face at least 3 hitters. So, like, strategically, how has any of this impacted your role or approach or how things might go once opening day hits later this week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have some dogs at the front of the rotation here in Detroit. I mean, it's led by Matt Boyd. I mean, that guy's a freak. So, I think the starters here and the guys coming up and, the guys that are going to be, having an opportunity to help the club, from the 60-man roster to get added to that big league roster, it's going to be important that you can face righties and lefties. I think that's, I think the third pitch of, the 2 pitches is kind of going to go away from relievers because they're going to have, righties are going to have to be able to get out lefties and righties. The lefty's going to have to be able to get the right-handed hitter out. It'll be interesting to see how the 3-batter rule plays, and it's going to make guys have to be able to get guys out multiple ways. It's been a shortened experience for me as far as the new rules and everything. So I don't know exactly how it's going to play, and I don't really know how Gardy's going to manage everything. Obviously, his track record's unprecedented. I mean, he's a guy that I watched manage growing up when he was with the Twins and I was in Kansas City and everything. So it's just pretty cool to be around him. Yeah. I'm interested to see the way he manages the team because I know he's going to do a good job. And it's, whenever your number calls and they tell you, hey, you're going to Detroit and you're going to face these guys, and you just get ready and you go do it. It's a lot of fun.
Has Faedo talked any junk?
No, man. I think we've gotten past that.
Okay, good.
I've worn it for 3 years and I'm going to continue to wear it. It's one of those things that'll stick with you forever, and you gotta look yourself in the mirror every day before bed and swallow that pill because it's a tough one.
But you didn't even get to pitch in the series, man. That would be my comeback to him. I'd be like, hey, bro, you're just lucky I didn't touch the ball because if Kramer's not out at home or they don't get that bogus call at second base, I got the ball in Game 3 and you ain't wearing a ring, kid. That's what I would say.
Hey. You said it, not me, but I like the way you think. I think that you speak for everybody in Baton Rouge.
I think so.
We get to a Game 3, anything's possible. I was feeling good. I know our guys are feeling good, but
no, it's not anything's possible. I give you the ball in Game 3, especially after they burned all their arms. It's over, man. That's that's a rout, is what that is. Anyway, all right, you're right. Yeah. I said it so you didn't have to. Alex Lang, hey, man. Look, I'm looking forward to when you get to make your debut. Hopefully it's later this week, but when it happens, we'll be watching, pulling for you, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes. We appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
All righty. That's Alex Lang, former LSU Tiger, now with the Detroit Tigers organization. He and Zach Hess both get the call up. So if you're not familiar, baseball has to expand rosters, obviously, because of what might transpire with COVID, with a shortened spring training, or really a non-existent spring training, but just this sort of ramp up to opening day. And the likelihood that because starting pitchers without a full offseason or a full spring training aren't going to be going 7, 8, 9 innings, from jump, you might see starting pitchers start by going 3, 4, 5 innings. It's going to mean you need more bullpen arms. So guys like Hess and Lang kind of are the beneficiary there, where Detroit goes into its farm system. They pick 2 of their really lively arms that they want to see against big league hitters, 2 of their better prospects, and say, come on, we need some arms. And so Lang and Hess now are with the big club, and they're going through intra-squad games. They had one today, and then opening day is later this week. So hopefully those guys both get in-game action this week. It would be awesome to see for both of them. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out our first break of hour number 2. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, the NFL Future Power Rankings. ESPN did this exercise today. I want to tell you where they project the Saints in the 1 to 32 hierarchy of the NFL over the next 3 years cumulatively. I found this very interesting. I'll share it with you next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Better coverage, less money. Told you last week, I got an email from a gentleman named Bill. And Bill was like, Matt, who's the insurance company you always talk about that can shop rates? He said, I have Liberty Mutual. I hear you say it all the time. So I gave him the contact to Insurance Network of Louisiana, lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Gave him the phone number as well, which I'll give you in a second. And I always say when I get those, I'm like, hey, message me back. Let me know how it goes. A few days pass. Bill responds. Matt, wanted to let you know, talk to Jay Richardson. He's able to save me $1,600 a year for the same coverage I was getting with Liberty Mutual. See that all the time. Liberty Mutual generally has good coverage, but you're just overpaying way too much, especially if you've been with them for several years. Tale as old as time. Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them shop to get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Methern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Brian, you collect baseball cards as a kid?
I do. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That was past tense.
You got a LeBron rookie?
I do not have a LeBron rookie.
How about that story? $1.8 million for a LeBron rookie card.
I have 120 Ryan Sandbergs.
So do I. I loved him, the flip shades. Yeah. That's a great shot of him, like, coming over second base, like making the throw with the flip shades up. Loved it.
Worth nothing.
Zero. I mean, it's not even worth the cardboard that they printed the card on or the ink that they used to print.
I have the Billy Ripken where they have the expletive written on the bottom of the bat. Somebody pulled a little prank on Billy Ripken and wrote blank face on his bat. That's
probably not worth it. No. I was digging through all my cards, though. I did find a Shaq rookie autographed that I had gotten Shaq to autograph at he was early in his career, but Shaq came in and did a camp in Baton Rouge, and I was young enough to still, go to camps. And he did autographs, and Mahmoud came to the same camp like later in the week and got autographs from those guys. So I'm just flipping through like a box of cards, right? I'm flipping in there like one of those little sleeves. I have 2 autographed Shaq rookie cards. So that actually might, if I get it authenticated, might be worth something. Probably not the $1.8 million that LeBron's rookie just went for. It's absurd, man. But it makes you wonder. It's like, what could you just be sitting on that might actually have value? Probably nothing that we have from that era. But
I have a Ricky Williams bobblehead. I wonder if that's worth anything.
Maybe to Texas fans. Or fans of High Times.
I should find a market for that thing.
The internet. There's a market for everything. So ESPN.com did an interesting exercise. They're calling it their NFL Future Power Rankings. They're projecting the next 3 years, or attempting to project the next 3 years for all 32 NFL teams. So here's what they did. They got their front office, the ESPN analysts who are former front office personnel, like Louis Riddick and guys like that. And they had them rate each team's quarterback, the remaining roster, aside from the quarterback, draft, their front office, and coaching, using, an A+ to F scale. And they averaged the results from all the panelists, and then they weighted the categories. Like roster was 30% of the grade, quarterback was 20% of the grade, the draft was 15% of the grade, front office 15%, and coaching accounted for 20% of the grade. And so they crunched those numbers to see what they came up with, and the number one team over the next 3 years, maybe a little bit of a surprise to some. I'm sure it's the 2 teams in the AFC that everyone would spit out first when you're trying to do a list like this. But it's not Kansas City, it's actually Baltimore that they have number one on this list over the next 3 years with an overall score of 89.4. So Baltimore is number one. They obviously give the overall roster a good ranking as third best, but quarterback, they rank third best. Coaching, they gave it fifth best, draft third, and they actually give Baltimore the best front office in the league at number one. So that's why Baltimore number one on the list. Number two is exactly what you would expect it to be. After Baltimore, they have the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, who, of course, has already won an MVP and has now won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. Ravens were at 89.4. The Chiefs are at an even 89.0 for their grade. They give them, obviously, the best grading for a quarterback, second best coaching, which is a bit odd because Andy Reid was always a bit of a it was always just sort of debatable on Andy Reid. It was kind of like he was a really good coach who won a lot of games throughout his career, but couldn't win the big one. Now, at this point, he gets over the hump with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, but you wonder really what else is there. 10th, though, as far as draft. So that was their lowest by far, which was interesting. Fourth best front office. They're really weighted heavily because of Mahomes and Andy Reid. So if either of one of those doesn't perform, it would suffice to say that KC might fall apart. So I'm flipping through this thinking, man, you know, if you're trying to project for the next 3 years, it's going to be the Saints without Drew Brees. Like, I think we can all agree that Drew will not be with New Orleans for the next 3 years. He'll play 2020, and that's probably it. The Saints have already started to prepare for what's next. They've paid Taysom Hill. They brought in Jameis Winston. They're trying to make their books as appealing as it can be so that they can pay their current free agents and continue to maintain their roster. So I'm thinking, like, where might the Saints be? Like, what is this organization without Drew Brees? So you knew one was going to be Baltimore and two was going to be Kansas City. Flip them however you want to do it. But they basically think Baltimore's overall roster is better than KC's. Fine. Third on the list, your first NFC team, is the San Francisco 49ers. And I don't know that I'm completely sold on this with San Francisco being third on this list, in large part because I'm not sure that Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy. And they don't think so either. For what it's worth, they grade the Niners with the 12th best quarterback. So that's far from elite. It's still top half of the league, but not top 5, top 10. But they give San Francisco the best overall roster in the entire NFL, which caught me a little off guard. 4th best coaching, 4th best draft, 7th best front office, but it's the best overall roster, which was the most heavily weighted factor in these ratings, which is why San Francisco ended up where they did. So where might New Orleans come in? How about next? ESPN's future power rankings projecting all 32 teams for the next 3 years grade the Saints as the 4th best team over the next 3 years with an overall score of 85.7, behind only Baltimore, Kansas City, and San Francisco. Baltimore, which has the reigning MVP and was just 15-1, and then the two teams that just played in the Super Bowl. After them, it's New Orleans. And this is what's interesting. The overall roster minus the quarterback, they rank as a tie with San Francisco. They give them both a number one ranking. So the Saints have the best overall roster outside of quarterback when you project. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at Michael Thomas, who's locked up under contract, and very likely they'll extend Marshawn Lattimore and Ryan Ramczyk and the way they've drafted. And so you have this big question mark at quarterback, but you have this elite level roster. So in many ways, San Francisco and New Orleans, this metric are showing them eye to eye. What's really interesting outside of that is where they rank the Saints quarterback situation over the next 3 years. Even without Drew Brees, ESPN's ranking system still grades the Saints better at quarterback over the next 3 years than San Francisco. Remember, they got San Francisco with Garoppolo at 12. They got New Orleans as the 9th best quarterback situation over the next 3 years. And that's what Taysom and under contract and Jameis for 1 year and possibly longer. But that's a major, major kudos not only to those two players that they have potentially in the wings, but also the Saints' ability to develop. They give the Saints coaching staff the 3rd best coaching staff in the NFL, which is in large part why that is right there where it is. I mean, if you're going to go Belichick at 1, and then you're going to go Andy Reid 2, which is what they have, they're saying Sean Payton and his staff are the 3rd best coaching staff in the NFL. So best roster, 3rd best coaching staff. They're saying that ultimately is going to buoy whatever happens at quarterback for New Orleans down the road. Draft threw me for a loop. They ranked the Saints 23rd as far as how they draft. Now, maybe this is just because the Saints don't really value picks, right? Like every year when the Saints go into the draft, we know they're always looking to move up. But I'm perfectly okay with that strategy for New Orleans. I'm okay with fewer picks that you hit on, especially when you have a roster like New Orleans has where you have so few holes. I'm okay if the Saints are in the draft and they say they see Adam Troutman there in round 3 and they go, we think he's the best tight end in this draft, or one of the best tight ends in the draft. He's sitting here at round 3. What really are we going to get in rounds 4, 5, 6? Like, let's go up and be aggressive and get this guy, because who knows what our future is with Jared Cook beyond this year. So maybe we get the guy who's the next Jimmy Graham, and we got him for 4 years on a rookie deal, and he becomes an all-pro caliber tight end. Potentially, if not, what have you lost? A 3rd and a middle round pick on a roster where you don't even have enough roster spaces available to sign 7, 8, 10 draft picks if you try to accumulate a lot of picks. So if you want to rank the Saints draft 23rd among NFL teams because of that, okay, but you know what? I'm pretty pumped about Zach Bond in round 3. The more I've learned about that guy, the more I learn, but for the off-the-field stuff, the sample at the Combine, Zach Bond would have gone well before round 3. There were some people who had him as a first-round draft pick in their mock drafts. So it's not to say that that's a consensus or he's going to be that level talent, but there's at least some people who do this professionally that thought he could have been a first-round pick. And now you got to find a spot for him sort of as a tweener in a 4-3, but I'm okay with letting Dennis Allen try to figure that out, and I'm okay taking him in round 3 if you're bullish about that guy to go get him. So it's just a different strategy that the Saints have implemented, and I think that and the front office go hand in hand. But even still, I think they've undervalued New Orleans in the draft and the front office there, and maybe potentially overvalued New Orleans at quarterback. Because if Jameis Winston goes and signs a free agent deal somewhere else next year, and what you have is Taysom Hill, you have a giant question mark at the most important position. And my fear with New Orleans over the next 3 years, I shouldn't even call it a fear. I should say my concern, if I had one, it's that the Saints become what Denver was after they won the Super Bowl with Peyton. They had a great roster. They went all in with Peyton Manning to build a roster around him to win a Super Bowl, and they did. They win Super Bowl 50 in the 2015 season, and subsequent to that, they went 9-7, and then 5-11, and then 6-10, and then 7-9. So they're on the climb back up, but they still haven't answered that question at quarterback. Maybe they have now with Drew Lock, but Trevor Siemian wasn't going to cut it. They went and signed Joe Flacco. That bombed. They thought maybe they might have found a solution, but they fumbled around trying to find that next guy to replace Peyton, who they won a Super Bowl with. The rest of the roster was good enough to keep them hovering around 500, but it wasn't enough to get them back into contention until you fix that position. So for me, I think the Saints roster's there. And clearly they value where the Saints are at quarterback more maybe even than most might. But that's still super encouraging when you look at a team with the reigning MVP, the team that won the Super Bowl and has the highest paid player in the history of major professional American sports, and then a team that just lost the Super Bowl neck and neck with you as the 4th best team over the next 3 years. I'll take those apples all day long. Dallas 5, the Eagles 6, a little surprised to see that. Pittsburgh 7, they're just always steady. The Seattle Seahawks at 8, we still got Russell Wilson. Tampa Bay at 9. Tampa Bay at 9, really valuing the overall roster minus the quarterback, and then they have them as the 5th best drafting team in the NFL, and recent success may lend that to be a good decision. And then the Indianapolis Colts at 10. So perhaps may see a sea change in the NFL over the next 3 to 5 years or so as some of these traditional legendary quarterbacks exit stage left. Of course, Tom Brady is near the end. This could be the end for Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. Who knows how much longer Ben Roethlisberger might play. The next wave of quarterbacks who emerges will obviously determine who are going to be the elite teams in the NFL. But this future power rankings projection from ESPN seems to think that even after Drew Brees, the Saints are still positioned to be one of the top teams in the NFL for the next half decade. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch it from the black and gold to the purple and gold. It is watch list season, and a handful of Tigers are on watch lists from over the weekend and today. We'll catch up on that when we come back. It's After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Sports is returning. We got opening day of Major League Baseball this week. We've got NBA exhibitions going down. You've got NASCAR, you've got golf, you've got MMA. We've got actual sports. And if you want to watch, get by Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. As we continue through this COVID time period, they're not open as late as they typically are, but the Nicholson location open till 11 p.m., the Bluebonnet location open till 10 p.m., so you can still eat great late at either Pluckers location. Mentioned we had Drew's birthday party this weekend. Of course, we had catering from Pluckers. We had the boneless wings, which are just giant tenders. We had the pans of mac and cheese and grilled chicken salad. It's great for everybody. Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in or carry out and watch sports on TV. At Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week.
But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Remember, you can always watch us on CST or on YouTube Live. If you search 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, you'll see the Watch 1045 page. You can watch us live on YouTube for free. And you can also jump in the comments section there and interact. We appreciate you. All of our shows from Off the Bench and Hanging with Hester and Handy and AFR, we're all live on that one channel. So if you want to watch us digitally live for free, you can do it on our YouTube channel, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Subscribe and hit the bell. Please do the same on the After Further Review page as well. Thanks, sir. If you want to catch interviews or comments or rants or any of that stuff, it'll be on the After Further Review YouTube channel. So get there and subscribe and hit the bell. And you'll be notified when we post. So it is watch list season. And we learned a few more watch listers that have come out, have been released. The John Mackey Award has released its watch list for the best tight end in college football. And wouldn't you know it, that LSU freshman Eric Gilbert is on the Mackey Award list for the best tight end in college football. Now, some of you might say, well, of course he is, Matt. 5-star, #1 tight end in the country, #5 overall prospect in the country, highest rated tight end in the history of 247 Sports. And you are right. On all accounts, you're right. And I believe that Eric Gilbert belongs on the Mackey Award watch list. But to all of the people who last week, when I was talking about Myles Brennan being snubbed for the O'Brien list, and all of LSU's running backs being snubbed for the Doak Walker list, and your comment then was, they haven't proven anything. What are you going to say now? Like, Gilbert literally hasn't even put on the uniform. Well, I take that back. You know, whenever they bring the recruits on campus, they bring them into the locker room and they let them put on the uniform. And they get to take the pictures and they throw up the L and they do all these poses in the camera, and that becomes their sort of highlight thing whenever they commit. Like, he's put on the uniform for that. But no other time ever has he put on the uniform and he's on the Mackey watch list. But he deserves to be on the Mackey watch list. It's a watch list. It's who are prospects that we think could have a really big year and could be in contention for our award. When you look at the Mackey watch list and there's 70 guys on it, I expect the tight end from LSU to be on this list. A year ago, Thaddeus Moss, out of nowhere, ended up with 47 catches for 570 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's a guy who's not nearly as gifted a pass catcher, probably a better all-around tight end because of his ability to block and be in line, but it seems as though Gilbert's going to be flexed out, more like a receiver. If you're just looking at a pass catcher, this guy's more gifted. And I don't think that's debatable. I mean, 6'5", 253, he's an Adonis. Like, listen to how they talk about him. I mean, this is what Ed Orgeron said earlier this offseason about Gilbert and how Scott Linehan wants to use him.
Obviously, we got some young receivers. The guy I'm excited about is Eric Gilbert. Eric's is not just going to be a tight end for us. We're going to use him as C. We're going to use him as X. We're going to use him in the spot. Eric is 6'5", 250. We're going to use him sort of like they used Megatron at Detroit.
Remember, Scott Linehan was the coach in Detroit when he had Calvin Johnson, and Calvin Johnson blew up there. So that's how they're trying to use him. Comparing him to Calvin freaking Johnson, maybe the most physically gifted wide receiver of our lifetime. Scott Linehan, who coached Megatron, this is what he said about Gilbert.
You know, obviously a great talent, top tight end coming out of high school last year. You just look at his physical traits, and they're all, they're really all elite for his position. And, the guy's not just a inline tight end or off the ball tight end. This is somebody you can move around. You can spread him out wide. I think he's going to be a matchup, nightmare for people as we progress.
A matchup nightmare in an offense that just set every stinking record you could possibly set. Of course it's a projection. Why do you think the Oklahoma quarterback is on the freaking Heisman watch list every year and gets Heisman odds out in Vegas? Why do you think Myles Brennan has Heisman odds out in Vegas right now? Because they ain't going to miss again like they did on Joe Burrow. In this offense where you know what the possibility is when you got Jamar Chase on one side and Terrace Marshall on the other, and oh, by the way, there's Racey McMath, and this cat who's a freak show Adonis that they're comparing to Calvin Johnson is going to draw the 4th or 5th best defender from the other team. He better have a giant season. I believe he will. I mean, you got the passing game coordinator saying, yeah, he's going to draw the 4th or 5th best defender from the other team. Good luck. I feel like that movie. Good luck. What was that movie called, Brain? Where the guy goes overseas and he's like, I got a skill set, and he finds his daughter and wants to kill the guy.
Taken.
That, like, good luck. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like LSU coaches are saying to defenders. Good luck. You seen that movie, by the way? Liam Neeson's badass in that.
Yeah, he is.
All the creative ways he finds to kill people. I think, though, Jack Bauer would kill Liam Neeson in that movie. Jack Bauer is the greatest TV, killer guy of all time. Not slasher, but good guy. There's a website. It's like Jack Bauer Kills. It's just a website dedicated to all the people he killed on 24.
I never watched 24.
He bit a guy one time. Bit him to death. While restrained. Jack Bauer was chained. He was being tortured. He's chained, and they had the leads on him so they could tell when he died. And so the guard walked away, because the guard always has to walk away. And he leans his head down and pulled the leads off with his teeth. And so he flatlined, right? And so he's his head's down like this, like he's dead. And the guard walks up to him, and he just pops up and bites him in the jugular. He bit him to death. The most creative way to kill people ever.
Just like Silence of the Lambs.
Way better.
Okay.
Jack Bauer would annihilate Hannibal Lecter because physically there's no match. There's just no match there.
Man, I don't know. Hannibal Lecter had those 2 guards, those 2 cops.
But he made them kill themselves.
Oh, no. The one that went into the little cage, which for some reason was some kind of weird bamboo cage for no reason.
He got him too, didn't he?
Yeah.
We got way off the subject here, but my point is, hey, SEC defensive coordinators trying to defend Eric Gilbert as the 4th or 5th best option, good luck. And he should be on the watch list, just like Myles Brennan should be on the O'Brien watch list because he's in an offense that's going to allow him to throw for 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and all that sort of stuff. And just like LSU's running back should be on the watch list because of what we saw with Clyde last year. And oh, by the way, James Cook from Georgia's on the Doak Walker watch list. He ran for 188 yards last year. Guess how many yards John Emery ran for last year? 189. Chris Curry, 188. Ty Davis Price ran for almost 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he's not on that list. That's my point. For everyone who's going, they haven't proven anything, that's not the point. This isn't what a what-have-you-done list. It's what do we think you're going to do list. And I think everybody within this LSU offense is going to have monster years because look at this offense. It's not going to be Joe Burrow. It'll never be that again. But if you're in an offense where your tight end is going to catch 60 balls for 800 yards and you got the best receiver in the country and you got a quarterback that's going to sling it, throw for 3,000 yards, yeah, you're going to have a lot of spoils that come with those victories. And a lot of it's going to be these watch lists. And yes, Eric Gilbert should be on the Mackey watch list, just like Brennan should have been on the O'Brien, and LSU's running back should have been on the Doak Walker watch list. I rest my case. And Jack Bauer, greatest fictional character, killer character of all time. How would I say that better, Brain? He's not a killer character, but like he's not like military, but like law enforcement. He saved the planet so many times from terrorists. 24, greatest show I've ever seen. I'm not saying it's the greatest show ever. I'm telling you it's the greatest show I've ever seen.
He sounds a lot like Rambo.
Way better than Rambo. He'd kill Rambo in a heartbeat. He'd make Rambo kill himself. No doubt. Not even close. Jack Bauer. Greatest ever. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Think real estate? Think Darren James. Right now, there's just a lack of inventory in the market. It is an amazing time to sell your home if you have ever thought about selling your home. This is the time to do it right now. Because amid COVID, we, in the springtime, kind of got a late start because so many people were quarantining or didn't want people in their home or weren't maybe comfortable going in other people's homes. It's just an incredible time to list your home because it is such a seller's market right now. Call Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. Let Darren show you how he can get your home sold faster for more money. Think real estate? Think Darren James, agent225.com.
Reviews are a smart judge of character. If you see this, it's time to move on. But this? Now that's a keeper. Richards Honda is proud of our 97% customer satisfaction rating. Every day, we're stepping up our game to make you feel safe. From masks to social distancing to new ways to shop. Richards Honda is committed to fanatical customer care. Because when people call you the smart choice, you'd better live up to it. Visit us today, I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more.
Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, wrapping up hour number 2, and glad to have you aboard with us. Monday shows brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. So coming up in hour 3, Russ Callaway was on off the bench. He's LSU's new lead offensive analyst. He's the guy that Ed Orgeron said is Steve Ensminger's right-hand man. First time I had a chance to hear Russ Callaway speak. And it was very... Cat gets it. Super impressive. We'll talk about that a little bit next hour as well. And we're also going to delve into what the NFL is doing. Of course, one of the big stories over the weekend, if you were following it on Twitter, for those not on Twitter, no big deal, but NFL players started using the hashtag #WeWantToPlay, but they were basically pressuring the NFL to increase its safety protocols. It was a coordinated effort from some of the biggest name players in the NFL, from Drew Brees and Russell Wilson to Richard Sherman and Patrick Mahomes and J.J. Watt, and a lot of other players joined in as well. And the NFL and the union today apparently have agreed on testing protocols. So I do want to delve into some of that coming up in the next hour, in hour 3 of AFR. So a lot we're going to get to, and Derry Beckwith, former LSU linebacker, is going to be with us in about 38 minutes from right now. He's doing a very cool thing as part of his foundation for prep athletes that I want to talk about, but I also want to talk with Derry about LSU's linebackers on this day where the Butkus watch list came out, and there are 2 LSU linebackers on that watch list. So that's all coming up in hour number 3. Right now, though, Brain every day, who is now taking the place of Musso, who every day would tell us what happened in the history of sports on this day in sports today. Take it away, Brain.
Happy to, Matt.
I have one question for you before you start.
Yes, sir.
This day in sports replaced Tigers in the Pros, if you recall.
Correct.
We had Tigers in the Pros, and then sports stopped, and so no Tigers in the Pros were doing anything.
Right.
So he changed it to this day in sports.
Do we?
So my question is, with sports starting again, it's time to have this conversation. Like, do we go back to this day in sports? Like Alex Lang, Tigers in the Pros, because Alex Lang and Zach Hess obviously is very notable. There was Odell Beckham news last week. Tyrann Mathieu has been in the news. Like, there's a lot of former Tigers. And the NBA is about to restart. We can follow guys like Garrett Temple and Tremont Waters.
The NBA is going to have, you know what, we can explore this because the NBA is going to have, it's not every team going back out there.
Right.
And there are no minor leagues to speak of.
But
Musso would comment on minor leagues a good bit last year.
You're talking about baseball.
Yeah.
But you've got expanded rosters.
You're right. It's like a trade-off.
There's 16 former LSU players on big league rosters right now. 16.
3 guys on the Tigers.
That's amazing. 16 in the show.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, anyway, so we just have to discuss, like, is opening day of baseball the day that we resume Tigers in the Pros?
We'll take a look at it. I'll run it down.
What happened in sports today?
Hey, on this day in 1858, baseball became professional baseball.
That happened in sports today?
On this day in 1858. The first fee was charged to see a baseball game.
Yeah.
It was 50 cents. New York beat Brooklyn 22-18. On this day in 1776.
I thought for sure you were going to throw in a 50-cent joke.
No. Oh, yeah.
How could you have not thrown in a 50-cent joke, Brain? I was leaving it open. I was waiting on the punchline, especially as a Mets guy. The first pitch he threw out.
That's right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Or 50 cent. Yeah.
Great.
It was on this day in 1976, Hank Aaron hit his last home run. Number 755 happened today. This day in 1994, O.J. Simpson offered $500,000 award for the evidence to find his ex-wife's killer.
Oh, how did that go?
He still has that $500,000.
Hasn't paid it out yet.
Yeah,
huh?
no, he has not yet paid that out.
Waiting to see still if somebody comes forth with that evidence.
Yeah, it's there. I think he's got it like in a separate
get it.
account, like a Christmas Club account.
Every time he makes the turn, heading toward the back nine, he checks his email to see if he's got that.
Yeah, no responses thus far.
What
By the way, it was
happened
on
to the music bed?
The music bed disappeared.
Oh,
yeah.
Has all audio disappeared?
No, just the music bed, and I'm not sure why. It was this day in 2000. The leaders of Salt Lake City's bid to take on the 2002 Winter Olympics were indicted by a federal grand jury for bribery, fraud, and racketeering.
Attaboy. Stay hot, Olympics. Oh, that's it. That's what happened on this day.
There's like 6 seconds left in the segment.
That's what happened on this day in sports today. Hour 3 of AFR is next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. July is Global Vision Correction Month. So every July during Global Vision Correction Month, what you see happen is eye doctors, optometrists, ophthalmologists have their own LASIK surgery done to show their confidence in the procedure. So 1 year ago in July, Dr. Blake Williamson, who did my LASIK, had his own LASIK done by his father, Dr. Charles Williamson. So the point is, if these ophthalmologists and optometrists are so convinced in the success of LASIK that they do it on themselves, you should have that confidence as well. And I know I do. Williamson Eye Center, there's just no better place. WilliamsonEye.com. If you're tired of fooling around with glasses and contacts, be done with them forever. LASIK could be the answer for you. Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 for only $30,400 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Getting geared up for Hour 3 of AFR, coming your way directly in under 1 minute. The NFL and its players have reached an agreement on the testing aspect of their COVID-19 safety protocols. Here's how they're going to do it. Once a day until they have 2 weeks' worth of a positivity rate below 5%. Then they'll drop it back to every other day. By the way, in order to get through the door, from the day they show up, they have to test negative twice before they'll even be let in. Keeping it with COVID-19, the NHL released its first COVID-19 test results since training camps opened on July 13th. The numbers were encouraging. 2 whole players testing positive with COVID-19. Back to the NFL. According to a report from Pro Football Talk, the NFL and the Players Association are discussing downsizing the preseason. Per the report, it looks like they're going to be down to 1 preseason game. That 1 preseason game will be played the week where the 3rd preseason game is normally played. Hour 3 of AFR coming your way now.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the brain.
And the brain got a poop.
We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one, folks. 5 o'clock quitting time. And glad you're driving home with us. Former LSU linebacker Derry Beckwith will be with us at the bottom of this hour. And we'll certainly talk with Derry about LSU's linebackers heading into the 2020 football season. Derry played for Bo Pelini, and when Bo got the job as LSU's defensive coordinator, we had Derry on the show, and he raved about him. Talked about what a great coach he was to play for, how he could get guys motivated, and also just how linebacker-friendly it is. Derry was an all-SEC linebacker when he played for Bo Pelini and coming out of Parkview in Baton Rouge. So excited to have Derry on a bit later this hour, and we'll talk about Jabril Cox, about Damone Clark, and how they figure to factor into this LSU linebacker core. On the other side of the ball, however, we all last year sort of collectively learned the importance of LSU's off-field staff. I think one of the big storylines that sort of transpired late in the season was the value of LSU's analysts, which became very public. Most notably when Joe Burrow went to the Heisman ceremony and George Munoz was there along with Steve Ensminger and Ed Orgeron and Joe Brady. And a lot of people wondered, well, who is that guy? Well, George Munoz was the former offensive coordinator at ULL who joined LSU as a staffer, as an analyst, and was such a key part of what LSU did. And he worked with the quarterbacks along with Steve Ensminger, whereas Brady worked more with the wide receivers with DJ Mangus, who he took with him to the Carolina Panthers. So the guy who replaced George Munoz, though, is Russ Callaway. Russ Callaway was the offensive coordinator at Samford. His dad is Neil Callaway, who'd been a coach in college football in the ranks, for years and years and years. And I have not heard Russ Callaway until he was off the bench this morning. The guys they're having everybody on LSU staff on their show throughout the summer. And this was the first time that I've heard Russ Callaway speak in this format, an interview. And it shouldn't be a surprise when you're the son of a coach and you've grown up in a football environment your whole life and you've been an offensive coordinator and now you're part of the LSU program, that you would be impressive. But Russ Callaway was that. And it kind of got me wondering how a guy who's already, I wouldn't say Russ Callaway is old, but he's a guy into his 40s, though, that still hasn't been a head coach at this point. It just kind of made me think, like, that's a little odd. I mean, he was just that impressive to where I would have assumed he would have gotten that opportunity. But I don't think there's any doubt that at some point that will come for him because he's impressive. But anyway, Russ Callaway on off the bench talked about a lot. He talked about Gilbert. He talked about Jamar Chase. He talked about Myles Brennan. But mostly he also talked about the offense and with working with Steve Ensminger. Remember, Ed Orgeron called Russ Callaway Steve Ensminger's right-hand man. Here's what Callaway said it's been like working with Ensminger.
They don't make him any better than Steve Ensminger, and I think y'all know that.
Yes, sir.
That they really don't. He's actually the same age as my father, and I think the reason why we work so good together is because he's the quarterback version of my dad, and I'm able to talk to my dad and tell him how I feel, and and just get, and I feel that comfort with Coach E. I feel like, yeah, hey, Coach, if I want to say something, I'll say it in Hebrew. Sometimes he's, hey, I'm all for it, or hey, no, I don't like that idea, but there's no hard feelings, and we move on.
That's so part of what makes that so. And forgive me, I said Callaway was in his 40s. He's not in his 40s, forgive me. But part of what makes that so impressive, he's in his 30s, but what makes that so impressive is when you hear a guy who spent his whole life around coaching, right? His dad was a coach at spots like Georgia and all over the SEC and other spots. He's been an assistant on Nick Saban's staff. Like, when you've been all over and you've been in that many systems at that many levels of ball, like he played a quarterback at Valdosta State. When you played at the FCS level and you've coached at every level in between to the major college level, and you hear they don't make him any better than Steve Ensminger and his willingness to be open, it's validating even further. I think at this point we all know what Steve Ensminger is and the value that he's brought. But that adds even more validation when you have someone who's just coming on the inside, who observed from the outside, now is on the inside, to have that type of perspective. But he also talked about the offense. And a lot of this conversation, I'd recommend you go listen to it. Go to the Off the Bench page at 1045ESPN.com or their YouTube channel. A lot of the conversation was about the LSU offense and how much of it was Burrow, how much of it is scheme, and how you sort of transition some of the concepts from last year to this year with different types. This was what Callaway said, talking about the flexibility that they have within the offense.
The overall picture kind of is what it is. I think that ain't changing, obviously, and it shouldn't, because they were so successful and did such a good job. But I think there will be some new things, just like there is with any other team, any other year, whether it be formations, routes, concepts, whatever. But again, the flexibility, and that's kudos to Coach E and Coach Linehan, is they were able to have it in such a way that you can get what you want week to week versus different looks.
I think the thing he said in this interview that stood out to me, that was the most impressive, is because I think the way they phrased the question was, is the success because of the personnel or because of the scheme? And he said, in essence, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have this cut, but he said, what they were able to do is force defenses to do something that opened up what they wanted to do. Like, they would force defenses, for example, to shade coverage at Jamar Chase, maybe to open up Clyde dumping out of the backfield on the other side. It's like the way that they would use like very common spread concepts and tweak them to make defenses do what they wanted them to do to open up something else and then execute is what made LSU tick, which to me, again, it's one thing when a coach on the inside says it. It's another when you have someone from the outside looking in, and then like you watched it and then you come and learn, then the light bulbs start clicking a little bit how that all worked. And listening to Callaway explain that was part of the reason why I came away thinking, I'm not expecting 2019 LSU, but for everyone wondering, was it Burrow or was it Brady? Or can they replicate it losing those two guys? The thing that's abundantly clear is, yeah, those guys were incredible at what they did. And I'm never going to diminish that. I mean, Joe Burrow is a transcendent talent, was the first pick in the draft, and he's a next level type leader and all that sort of stuff. And Brady brought some concepts in that I don't think anybody would minimize the importance. But Steve Ensminger ran that offense last year, and you've still got talent all over the field. So if you put Jamar Chase on one side and the team decides they're going to double him, and you've still got Terrace Marshall and Racey McMath, and oh, by the way, then you could dump Ty Davis-Price out of the backfield or have Gilbert covered by a tight end, like, can you still make those concepts work? I think so. I think it's a commitment to what they're doing, and that's why I think that's going to continue to work offensively for LSU. I'm not expecting 5,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, but I do expect offensively they're going to move the ball and still score a ton of points the way that we'd expect. And, of course, that starts with Brennan. Here's what Callaway said about LSU's new starting quarterback, Myles Brennan.
I tell you, Myles is he's special. I really think he's got a chance to be really good. He's very, very eager to learn. You tell the guy to do something one time, Coach E tell him, and it's done. He's very, very hungry for the opportunity, but also respects what Joe did and respects the process. So I think he's going to be a really good quarterback, and he's a really, really, really fine young man, and I'm excited about watching him.
Of course, he's going to be throwing the ball to Jamar Chase, who we know is the Blitnikoff Award winner. He'll be a first-round draft pick. Here's what Russ Callaway said makes Jamar Chase different.
Yeah, he's pretty special. I tell you, I really think if you move him to running back, he'd probably be just as good as a running back. But no, he can be really good. And I tell you what makes him really good is he listens. And, like, it's Coach Linehan may have a new idea, or somebody may have a new idea and a different way to think about it. And he really listens and listens to what you're saying and wants to be good. And he's out here busting his tail. I mean, he's truly one of a kind. I think he's really special. I do.
Russ Callaway, again, was on off the bench earlier today. Really impressive conversation, a good kind of peek behind the scenes of what LSU is doing offensively from someone who wasn't part of the staff a year ago, watched it from the outside looking in, and is now being able to see it from the inside out. If you want to go check it out again on the Off the Bench page on demand at 1045ESPN.com or on the guy's YouTube channel. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want to give you some thoughts on LSU, landed a big hoops transfer over the weekend. We'll get to that. And I have to delve a little bit into what the NFL announced today about their testing protocols and moving forward, and a former LSU football player who we know tested positive for COVID as well. So we'll get to that when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. If you are quarantining because of COVID, you're not getting out and about, but you want to do something outdoors, what an awesome opportunity. Go by Clegg's Nursery. Buy flowers or plants or trees or shrubs or seeds. Get in that flower bed. Plant that vegetable garden. Whatever it may be, it's a great opportunity. Just go plant something. For so many people, that's good for the mind and for the body to be outside, to kind of be in the dirt, planting something and adding a pop of color, beautifying the exterior of your home. You can do it with our friends at Clegg's. Or maybe because you're stuck at home, you're trying to do all these honeydews. Well, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So if you think about what you'd want to buy at a hardware store, you can find it at Clegg's Nursery as well. The one on Segan. You walk in, look to the right, you'll see all the hardware stuff over there. Everything from duct tape and floodlights and spray paint and hammers and nails. They got you at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So Andrew Whitworth and basically his entire family tested positive for COVID. Whitworth was on a media teleconference hosted by the NFLPA leaders about how they were going to handle the COVID testing and all. And you know, this became a big story over the weekend for those who are on Twitter. You saw this trending yesterday as it was a very concentrated effort by some of the more prominent players in the NFL on social media using the hashtag #WeWantToPlay, trying to pressure the NFL owners to come up with protocols for testing to allow players to safely get back on the field. Now, my feeling all along with this is that the players are going to play anyway, and there's a really nice write-up at USA Today about the money that players would be leaving on the table if they didn't play. Guaranteed. Here's the idea. Essentially, guaranteed contracts in the NFL for many players would only be guaranteed if they played, if there were a season. So it's only guaranteed in that sense. Some players, when they get their contract, choose to take a signing bonus, basically the lump sum up front, and then they spread that money out over the length of the contract and take just a lesser salary throughout the years after getting their signing bonus. Others opt for the guarantees over the life of a deal. Well, those guarantees may not be in place if there's no season. So essentially the argument is it's incentivizing these players to play if they want to get paid. And obviously many of them, all of them, want to get paid and will lead them to that direction ultimately to play. But Andrew Whitworth said he had a family member who had lunch with a friend. A couple of days later, the family member wasn't feeling well, tested positive for COVID. He says, quote, "Next thing we know, she had it. A couple of days later, my wife and I had it. A couple of days after that, my kids had it. So we were about 7 for 7 at that point. Then unfortunately, we just visited my wife's family. We were traveling with them as well, and her mom and dad both got it. Everything seemed to go pretty normal. It was a pretty mild case. Did mention that his father-in-law ended up getting sicker, was in the hospital, not ICU, but then was obviously released as well." So a couple of things. One, I'm a little taken aback because it almost felt like listening to Whitworth. And this isn't should they play, shouldn't they play sort of thing. So I don't want you to misunderstand. I was a little taken aback with Whitworth's tone, though, because he almost felt like he was embarrassed by the fact that he got COVID. And Andrew Whitworth's wife, Melissa, went to Twitter after this interview, and she tweeted something to the effect that, well, I guess the news is out, word's out that, the whole family had gotten COVID. Here's the tweet right here from Andrew Whitworth's wife, Melissa. She wrote, "I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yes, all the Whitworths tested positive for COVID, plus my parents about a month ago. Dad had a really hard time, but is slowly getting back on his feet, begging everyone to take this virus seriously, wear masks, protect your loved ones, and others." And I guess the point is, like, you didn't do anything wrong. That you got, it's a virus. You can't kill a virus. You have to let a virus run its course. And no matter what precautions you're taking, you can slow it, but you're never going to be 100% completely isolated or insulated from it. So I guess maybe that's part of my thing is just, I don't think that people should feel like they're wearing a scarlet letter if they tested positive. You can take all the precautions you want. You can still get it. Just like, you can get any sickness during any type of season. But the other thing that I think is important worth noting, though, is that what Whitworth laid out there is you had about a dozen people that all had mild cases except for one. And that's probably the bigger tell for most of these athletes that are contemplating going back to playing. Like I saw Russell Wilson tweeted about his wife being pregnant and sort of being cautious in his hashtag we want to play. I understand that, but we've also have research that shows that pregnant women aren't passing, if they have COVID, they aren't passing COVID to their unborn child, which is phenomenal. That's very relieving, but it's also part of what Russell Wilson said there that kind of spreads a little misinformation in that respect. But nonetheless, Andrew Whitworth tested positive, and he was one of the ones that's like many of these other NFL players that's stumping for uniform testing and testing policies for these players to stay safe. And today, the NFL and the players did reach an agreement on the testing aspect of the COVID safety protocol as training camps are set to open. You had some rookies arrive at training facilities today. The Kansas City Chiefs rookies arrived today. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire is at the Kansas City Chiefs facility today. Throughout the rest of this week, more rookies will arrive. Justin Jefferson tweeted that he'll be at the Vikings facility on Thursday. So we're starting to see NFL players show up, and what players pushed for in social media yesterday got done very quickly today as the NFL and the Players Association have reached an agreement on testing. So essentially, there will be daily COVID testing for the first 2 weeks of training camp. After 2 weeks, if the positive test rate is below 5%, meaning less than 5% of NFL players test positive, the league would scale back testing to every other day. If the positive rate is not below 5%, they'll continue with daily testing until it does drop below 5%. So I think everyone understands, like, there's going to be positive tests just like there are, but the NHL is a great example. The NHL has been testing as they've tried to return, and throughout the entire preseason here for the NHL and all the camps and all the testing, they've had 2 positive tests. The thing that is maybe the most encouraging is what we've talked about with respect to what Ed Orgeron talked about last week, which was when he met with the vice president, was we had some guys go to bars. We saw a spike in positive tests. They had to learn the hard way. They did. Since then, it's been 0. Bagel, nothing burger. There was Brett McMurphy earlier today tweeted something similar from Notre Dame. Like, Brett McMurphy tweeted that Notre Dame's had more than 300 tests so far as their student athletes have been on campus. Here it is. Notre Dame tested 103 football student athletes on Wednesday with no positive tests. To date, Notre Dame has tested 356 student athletes, coaches, and staff with only 2 positive tests. I think the punchline there, or the lead, is that athletes want to play, and they're taking the necessary precautions to make sure they do play. They are taking this seriously as far as protecting themselves and limiting their exposure so they can play. And that's a great thing. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Derry Beckwith, former LSU linebacker, in 7 minutes from right now. I did want to talk about this briefly. In hour 1, we had Billy Embody with us from Go 24/7. If you were not here, all good. But we talked about LSU landing. Forgive me, I had the wrong notes. We talked about LSU landing a transfer from the University of Washington, Brian Penn Johnson, over the weekend. You know the backstory. LSU was recruiting Musa Cisse. He was a center out of Memphis, reclassified from the class of 2021 to 2020. He was reportedly a silent commit to LSU. Will Wade publicly said, fans are going to be really happy when we get some news next week. When Cisse was set to announce, Dick Vitale goes public with the NOA stuff. Cisse backs off. He was set to announce again. Vitale came back with more NOA talk. Cisse backs off. He ultimately ends up signing with Memphis. Will Wade still had a roster spot open. He was looking for a big. He needed some length, some rim protection. So he gets Brian Penn Johnson, 7-footer from California, went to University of Washington, redshirted his first year, played his second year in 6 games this past season. But as Billy Embody told us, has grown into his body, showed up on campus at about 205. He's put on a lot of size since then and is really known not so much as an offensive threat, but someone who's going to be a really good rim-protecting option on the defensive end. So the big question, though, for LSU right now with Brian Penn Johnson is whether or not he's going to be eligible this year. He's not a grad transfer. As a transfer, he would have to be granted an eligibility waiver from the NCAA to be able to play immediately this year. So I asked Billy Embody to update us on that.
It'll probably be a similar case of, Sharif O'Neal dealt with a lot of medical issues early on in his career at UCLA. And so the pitch now is that he's already lost a year of college basketball with the heart condition and heart surgery. Let's not cost him another year of eligibility by, making him ineligible for transferring out of the program and getting a fresh start at LSU. That's probably the similar pitch they're going to use with Brian Penn Johnson. And then for UW, what would be great on their part and what a lot of college coaches are doing around the country is supporting a transfer. So whether it's the coach saying, look, I kind of over-recruited him. He would have had a spot here, but he wouldn't have played. I support him going to LSU and getting a fresh start and maybe playing more.
So that was Billy Embody kind of laying out the case for what LSU may do with Brian Penn Johnson to try to get him eligible immediately. If he does not gain immediate eligibility, he'd have to go the route of Cavell Bigby Williams, where Cavell signed with LSU and then ultimately had to sit a year before being eligible his senior year for the Tigers when, of course, they won the SEC and went to the big dance and made that Sweet 16 run. So this could very well be the length, the defense, the rim protection that Will Wade hoped he was going to get with Moussa Cisse, but looks like he now has with Brian Penn Johnson. It's just a matter of can they get him eligible this year as a redshirt sophomore. If not, then, you're going to have a guy sitting on the bench this year for you until you can get him eligible the following season. But it does seem like amid COVID that the NCAA is granting more of these eligibility waivers. And amid these uncertain circumstances, why not? You know how I feel about it. I always feel like kids should be able to go play wherever they want, so without restriction. So here's hoping it works out for LSU and for Brian Penn Johnson, because Will Wade looks like he's going to get his big man that he coveted for this class. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, ReliefWindows.com. They're not just windows, though. They're windows, door, siding, and they're a title sponsor on our Monday shows all throughout the year. All right, let me knock out a breakout. We'll come back. We'll chat with former LSU linebacker Derry Beckwith, 2007 national champion. Doing a great thing for our community. We'll let Beast tell you about in a little bit, but also want to talk to him about LSU's linebackers with Bo Pelini this year. Two of them, Damone Clark and Jabril Cox, on the Butkus Award watch list. What might their potential be in this defense with Bo Pelini this year? We'll talk about that with former LSU linebacker Derry Beckwith next.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. If your home central AC isn't keeping up, River City's 1 Hour Air. If you've not yet done your preseason tune-up and rejuvenation, you can still do it for $97. Let them get your AC running efficiently to lower your energy bills, but also to make sure you're extending the life of your AC. Why in the world would you let that thing go unchecked for years and years and years when it's so expensive to replace? Don't let a little problem become a very big, very expensive problem. River City's 1 Hour Air. And also, they are hiring. If you want a career instead of a job, River City's 1 Hour Air. Health benefits, retirement, they treat you like family. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, or onehourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Our family of restaurants are fired up, and we can't wait to see you safely. Little Village Downtown. Call or go online for offerings and hours. Palermo Ristorante. We're serving great food right now. Little Village on Airline. Reward yourself. Stabs in Central? Nice. Stabs Prime on Jefferson. Steak or seafood? Introducing Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. We're socially responsible from a distance.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $3,200 off MSRP on a 20 Tacoma TRD or lease a 2020 Tacoma Special Edition for $209 a month. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's been an interesting day for high school sports around the country. Georgia announced that they're going to start on time to play a full schedule, including playoffs. California announced they will not start their high school sports season, football season, until December or January. Still awaiting word what might happen here in Louisiana, but former LSU linebacker and Parkview Baptist alum, one of our guys, Derry Beckwith, is doing a great thing for prep athletes, and wanted to have him on to talk about that, but also talk a little LSU football with Bo Pelini and the Butkus Award watch list coming out today. Figured it was a great time to talk some linebackers with Beast. How are you, man?
Matt, I'm doing wonderful, man. How you doing today?
Doing great, man. I always love hearing your voice, and we appreciate a couple of minutes. Hey, man, let me just start with if you could go back to your prep days, what you would be thinking right now with so many of these states uncertain. I just mentioned, Georgia's going to play a full season. California's not going to start until December or January. What would it be like for you right now if you were a high school athlete?
If I was a senior, I would be terrified. I'm going to be honest. I would be terrified if I was a senior knowing that this is your last year to play, maybe your last year to show your skills and your talents in front of all of college recruiters. So I would be terrified right now if I was a senior in high school. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't want to sugarcoat it and say if I take Darius from 2004, I'll be good, I'll be calm, cool, and collected. No, I would not. I'll be terrified. I'll be nervous. I'll be worried if everything was uncertain. I didn't know if I was going to have an opportunity to play my senior year.
Derry, it's the recruiting aspect is something I didn't even think of, but you're right. Like so many guys, recruiters get on them and make those decisions in their senior year. So, like, what was it like for you? Were you pretty set going into your senior year, or did you kind of have to have that big senior year?
I mean, I tell this story all the time, and it never gets old. I never committed to LSU. My mom actually committed for me. That was my junior year. She told Coach Saban, he's not thinking about anything. He's coming here. So she technically verbally committed for me. And so I was pretty much solid my junior year. And then the great Coach Kenny Guillotte would not let me take any official visits my senior year. I mean, I would come into the office. One day I went to his office and I saw a stack of letters just piled up in his office. And one of the assistant coaches, like, you know, there was all the letters that colleges were sending you, but Coach Gill would tell them, look, he's focused on the senior year. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And to this day, I'm still kind of a little bit upset with Coach Gill because I missed on a lot of free trips, man. A lot of free trips. But, you know, obviously it all worked out. They knew what was best for me.
Where would you have gone? What trips?
I would have went to Tennessee. And believe it or not, I would have went to Ole Miss because Orgeron was there.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. He was a phenomenal recruiter. So, like, I would have went to Ole Miss just specifically for Orgeron. Also, I would have went to, I know this word is not a good word around here, but I would have went to Alabama for an official visit.
All right. I mean, you wouldn't have gone to Miami and USC and Hawaii just like to milk it a little bit, go to some really like awesome places?
Man, I wouldn't have known if those schools were recruiting me because Coach Gill never would have told me. So my communication with the schools was cut short, and like most of these schools started coming on and kind of opened their communication back up when Coach Saban left a month before signing day. So that's how like Alabama and Tennessee and Ole Miss and all these other schools started to get back in the picture because now, you know, Saban left, so it was like, oh, well, maybe have an opportunity to talk to him. But it was pretty set in stone, man. I was LSU through and through.
I think it worked out pretty good for you, Beast.
It did.
Derry Beckwith is our guest, former LSU linebacker. I want to talk about this current crop of linebackers and Bo Pelini all coming up in just a second. But, man, the work you're doing with your foundation is awesome. I know we've talked about it with you in the past, but if you would, take a minute here and explain what you're doing with these Zoom meetings to help high school athletes.
So these Zoom meetings, they're taking place. They're free virtual Zoom meetings, obviously through Zoom. I keep saying Zoom. But what we're doing, they're learning practical skills that they can take and apply for the rest of their lives. We previously did a Zoom meeting where they learned how to balance a checkbook and also write a check. They also had an opportunity to sit in and learn how to properly interview for a job. These are things that I believe high school student athletes need to be exposed to and kind of condition their mind into something new. When I first got on the show, I said if I was a senior in high school, I'll be terrified. And that's a true statement. If you take the Derry right now and place him back in 2004, I would be terrified. So the reason I established this foundation is to kind of break that mold and let them know, look, even if you didn't have sports, you still have another identity that you still can be just as successful if sports were not in your life.
Derry, I think it's sensational. If high school, is it just high school athletes, like grades 9 through 12 can watch?
Yes, sir. 9 through 12, any sport, male and female. So this Thursday at 2 p.m. we're doing nutrition and sports performance. We have Miss Amy Johnson, who's a certified nutritionist with Traction Sports Performance. She'll be on and she will basically explain eating habits, performance plates, and hydration, and also with everything going around with the COVID, talk about the immune system and the proper way to eat to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So they can sign up. Go to the website, DerryBeckwithFoundation.org/blitz. Again, it's DerryBeckwithFoundation.org/blitz, and they can sign up for free.
That's Blitz, B-L-I-T-Z?
B-L-I-T-Z.
Got it. Okay, DerryBeckwithFoundation.org/blitz. We're going to tweet out the link and also share it on the station's Facebook as well. But if you have and actually if you go to the web, I'm looking at it right now, Derry. If you're listening, if you go to the website to DerryBeckwithFoundation.org, right there at the top, it's click here to register for how nutrition helps sports performance. That's it right there, correct?
Yes, sir. That's it.
All right. So, yeah, there it is right there, the Blitz Initiative. So go and you can register right there. That's this Thursday, 2 p.m. And someone will just get sent because you got to put in your phone number. So someone will just get texted the Zoom link.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to send out the Zoom link through email. We're starting the date to send out those Zoom links with the instructions, the information to prepare for the meeting this Thursday.
Okay. DerryBeckwithFoundation.org. If you got a high school athlete in your family or you know of one, make sure you get that link, DerryBeckwithFoundation.org. Hey, man, got a couple more minutes with you. I want to talk some ball. When Bo got hired back as defensive coordinator, you came on the show because you played for him, and you talked about how much you enjoyed playing, how well you think he's going to work. Today we found out that the Butkus Award watch list came out, and both Jabril Cox and Damone Clark are on it. Why do you think specifically in this defense with Bo, those two guys could have big seasons?
Jabril Cox, the transfer from South Dakota State, the reason I think he would be a perfect fit because he's long and rangy, especially with today's offenses, they spread you out. So a guy like that who can cover sideline to sideline and who can blitz the passer, also defend the running back is something Bo Pelini wants. And Bo played a lot of man coverage. I was joking with Hester a few weeks ago when I was on the show. I mean, God forbid, he had me guarding Percy Harvin the whole game on vertical route. And, I was like, I can remember for that game, I'm like, Bo, are we gonna make any halftime adjustments? He's like, no, you got him. So those type of situations, a guy like Jabril Cox, who's long and rangy, he's able to do those certain things. And look, I'm a big fan of Damone Clark. I think I may have told you earlier this as well. I think this guy has a chance to be a star at LSU. He's a great kid. He's athletic. He's big. He's strong. He's fast. So I think Bo Pelini can use him in multiple ways. He can line him up off the ball, and also he can blitz him off the edge. Today's prospects have to be versatile, especially with the new spread offense. So these guys, both those guys, are extremely versatile, and you can do a lot with them. The days of the thumpers are over with. The 6'4", 265 middle linebackers are over with. Guys have to be versatile. They have to play multiple positions and do multiple things. I think both those guys are very capable of doing that.
I was looking at this earlier, man, and it was. Did we lose Derry? We're still there. What's crazy to me is there's only been one time dating back to 2001 with Brady James and Trev Falk. There's only been one time where LSU had two linebackers each have 100 tackles in the same season. Like I would have never thought that as many pro linebackers have come through this program, it would have been that big of a drought. Is this the best tandem that you? And maybe this is premature, Derry. I mean, maybe we got to wait and see how it plays out. But in tandem, like these two together, is this the best tandem of inside backers LSU's had since fill in the blank?
Ooh, since Derry Beckwith and Ali Highsmith. No, I'm joking.
Maybe so, man. But
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. No, I understand. No, honestly, I don't know. Obviously, I had the opportunity to watch Trev Falk and Brady James, and being a fan at a young age and watching those guys, I always thought, man, nobody can get better than those two. I have to see how Jabril Cox and Damone Clark play with each other, because having a guy next to you is based off of feel, and if you can go talk to Brady James and Trev Falk, a lot of times those things take time. And what happens is you play with a certain person for 1 or 2 years, and you kind of develop that feel off that person. For instance, me and Ali, we played together for almost 3 years. So the more games we got in, the more reps and more snaps, it was almost like I could read his mind. So I don't want to jump to conclusions and say, well, look, this is going to be the best tandem, because obviously they have to put the work on the field and be productive. Now, do they have the ability to be the best tandem ever? Absolutely, they do. And especially with a guy like Bo Pelini, who's going to make sure he gets the best out of both of those guys.
Can you guess? There's no way you'll guess. So in 2001, Trev Falk had 119 tackles and Brady James had 113.
Okay.
From that point, there's only been 1 year from that point to now where there were two linebackers that each went over 100 tackles in the same season. Can you
after 2001?
Since 2001, it's only happened once. There have been times where they've had two, like in your year in 07, Ali had 101 and Craig Stelz had 101, but that was a linebacker safety. Same thing in 02, Brady James had 154. He was a freak show. And then Norman Lejeune had like 110. But again, linebacker safety. But there's only been one other time where two linebackers had 100 tackles in a season. Can you guess?
No. I want to say, God dog it, not recently with Jacob Phillips and Patrick Queen. Is that? No, give me one more guess. Hold on 1 second.
You can guess all day. You can guess all day, Beast. You're not going to get this one, man.
Alexander, Deion Jones.
Nope.
Deion.
Okay. So in 2015, Deion had 100 and Kendall Beckwith had 84.
the St. Kendall.
But that ain't it though. That's not it.
It's not.
It was 2012. Kevin Minter, his All-American season, he had 130 tackles. He should have won the Butkus that year. And Lamine Barrow had 104. You weren't going to pull out Lamine Barrow, were you?
No, I was not. And I love him. Lamine was a great player.
No doubt, but
God, no.
But Derry, when you think about Kendall Beckwith, Deion Jones, Duke Riley, even go back to think of guys like Perry Riley and Kelvin Shepard, pros, like NFL linebackers, and this hadn't been done but once since 2000. Like this tandem here in Beau's defense, they got a shot, man. They got a shot to be that tandem.
They do, and I do believe as well. Now with the, I guess with the 4-3 defense, even like the 4-down lineman, it's going to free up those guys a little bit more. Even though they want their D linemen playing upfield and making plays, I do believe it will free up those guys a little bit more, especially, with the spread offenses and everything, how everything works out. So they do have a great opportunity to do that. But I can't even talk right now because I never would have guessed it was Lamine Barrow and Kevin Minter. So I'm just talking about, I don't know, I'm still flabbergasted about Lamine Barrow and Kevin Minter because I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, Lamine wore the 18 jersey too. I mean, he was a great player, but he's not the one you would have thought of because there's so many NFL linebackers who came through the program.
I did not think that.
Well, then I know the next crop is going to be on that Zoom call on Thursday, 2 p.m. Go to DerryBeckwithFoundation.org to register your son or daughter high school athlete. DerryBeckwithFoundation.org. They'll be talking about nutrition amid COVID, helping sports performance, but make sure you're getting in on these. Get your high school student athlete in on DerryBeckwithFoundation.org. The link to register is right there at the top of the page for the Blitz Initiative. Derry, you're the man. Always appreciate a couple of minutes, man. We'll see you soon, all right?
You too, Matt. Take care and be safe.
All right, man. You do the very same. One of our favorites, man. Derry Beckwith's a great guy. The guys at Traction call him Beast because when Derry was done playing, and when I first started working out at Traction years ago, Derry was done playing. He would go in there and do his workouts early morning when I would. And Derry on Fridays would do Friday by day when he would do his biceps, and he would be curling ungodly amounts. I mean, he'd get the Olympic bar with 45 plates, and he's doing his curls. So then guy was an NFL linebacker. So anyway, but Derry's a great guy, as you can tell as well. I'm proud of him for what he's doing. So DerryBeckwithFoundation.org, DerryBeckwithFoundation.org. We'll link on our Twitter and Facebook as well. All right, it's after further review. We'll wrap up with the Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. You're seeing the growth. You see the blue Premier South Roofing signs in yards all over Baton Rouge. You see their trucks and their trailers in neighborhoods all over South Louisiana because people are learning what I've told you for so long. You're going to have a better experience with the contractor. You're never going to have to worry if they're going to do the job right, if they're going to be respectable and reputable, if they're going to do beautiful work, show up on time, do what they say they're going to do at a fair price. It's Premier South Roofing. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. Commercial or residential. If you need something done to your roof, gutters, awnings, they do it all at Premier South Roofing. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, it's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. So, I understand that Jimmy Ott, roughly 1 week into his new time slot, has already taken days off. Who am I talking to? Who is this?
You are talking to Ben Mintz, and I'm fired up to be on here with you, Matt, and I want to wish your son, Drew, a happy birthday over the weekend.
Thanks, Mitzi. I appreciate it, man. It's good to hear your voice. All right, so you're filling in for the Ott father today. Y'all are at Rufino's?
We are at Rufino's, and we've got Hanny filling in for Ott. It's Hanny, myself, and Roscoe. And with Major League Baseball opening day on Thursday, I know you're a big Yankees fan. It's American League Preview Day. We're doing AL East, Central, West, odds to win MVP, Cy Young, you name it. We're going deep.
Dude, I'm pumped, actually, to get to see some live baseball later this week. I know a lot of people who are baseball nerds are going to geek out on it to get to watch some ball. It's just long overdue. But what's, like, tonight, what's the deal? I mean, normally Ott gives us a pick, so I don't know. He normally goes with, like, La Lithuania or something like that in soccer. What do you have for us tonight, Mintz?
Well, I got some futures. I'll just go ahead and give a little tease of some American League futures. This will be a fun one, Matt. I know you're a big Yankees fan. I actually like a little bit of a future on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 9-1 little flyer in the American League because their pitching staff. They got 3 of the top 6 Cy Young candidates, and I think in a 60-game season, it's a totally different ball game, and the pitching staffs are going to mean even more than they do in a 162.
Yeah, Mintz, I've heard a little bit like that. The Rays, maybe the Dodgers in the NL because of their staff and a shortened season, that they might be a really interesting play.
Well, my thing isn't, I don't even know that the Rays can win that division over the Yankees. This Yankees lineup is just so deep. And then I think James Paxton might be able to stay healthy on a shorter season. They've got a great bullpen, but I just like the Rays if they happen to get in the playoffs. That pitching staff's so deep. They're going to be a nightmare in a 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7 series. That's why I like them as a flyer.
Is Hanny Island Hanny tonight?
I'm not sure. Hanny's back from the lake. He had a big time in Lake Charles. Apparently, they took a boat to LaBerge, so it sounded like he had a big weekend. But I think he's walking around right now. But he's excited to be in here previewing some baseball. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mintz, if it were Island Handy, you would know it was Island Handy. He'd be in there in his Tommy Bahamas shirt with a straw hat on, and he'd be sipping on a Mai Tai.
Well, I guess it's a little early in the week. He's coming off the lake, so I guess he's going to wait till Wednesday or Thursday to turn it into Island Handy this week.
All right, it is game time with Jimmy Ott. Ben Mintz, Charles Hannegriff filling in as Jimmy is. Where I don't even know where is Jimmy? Is he?
Jimmy is his son EJ playing in the big baseball tournament in Birmingham. Big opportunity for him. So they're going to be. He's going to be out. He's going to be out tomorrow. And I also want to mention Jolie Pearl Thursday night. Dollar Oysters. It's Major League Baseball opening day. We're gonna have a heck of a lot of fun on Thursday night in there.
That's good.
Hope you can make it.
Mintz, y'all have a great night, man. Have a great show. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
You got it, man. That's Ben Mintz. So Mintz, Hanny, they'll handle Game Time with Jimmy Ott coming up here in Baton Rouge just after us. All right, Brain, what did you learn today?
I learned that a major league pitcher can miss a mattress when throwing at it.
Go listen to the Alex Lang interview from earlier today if you missed it. Paul, what did you learn today?
I learned Derry Beckwith's mom verbally committed for him.
That's so good.
Hey, Matt, what'd you learn?
That Russ Callaway is not 44 years old. All right, it's after further review. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Relief Windows. Y'all have an awesome night. If you're in Baton Rouge, Game Time with Jimmy Ott is next. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock on AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. You have 11 days left in this month. You have a calendar, you know that, but it's July 20th. You have 11 days left in July. That means you have 11 days left to take advantage of their great July specials. It is beach season. A lot of people are getting by the beach or by the pool. You know you can safely socially distance at the beach, and you can still have a great time and enjoy the sun. And a lot of people just don't want to take their shirt off because you got body hair. Forget that forever. Laser hair removal. Buy 2 treatments, get a 3rd free. All this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Well, how many treatments do I need? Well, that depends on the surface area, how thick the hair is in that area. That's why you go meet with one of the laser technicians and let them do the consult to let you know how much it would cost. Maybe it's unsightly facial hair. Maybe it's ladies who never want to shave their legs again. There are so many possibilities. But buy 2 treatments, get 1 free this month at the Aesthetic Medicine Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
0% for 72 months on all new 2020 F-150s. Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow